Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Boss Rush Podcast, a great place to play games and be better. I am your host, returning Corey Derrick, and alongside me is the PC Muscle Race, LaRon Dawkins.
I am so glad you're back hosting because I get to go back and just ask everybody what's popping.
Yeah, you don't need to make sure the stream is set up right, or make sure the recording didn't record double audio, or make sure you send it to me 37 times and make sure it's okay, or do it across.
Did you tell him to submit to you?
No, I just sometimes, like the first week or so he did, but after that he was like, I don't know. You feeling all right after all that, LaRon?
Oh yeah. But I think the T-shirt you sent me that says Corey's little bitch finally showed up in the mail this weekend.
Good. Don't worry, I cut the sleeves off for you. You can just wear
you did. Thank you.
You can wear the sleeve that just says "bitch" across the top of your forehead. Just fine while you're working out.
Yeah,
this has escalated very quickly.
Yeah. It's missing one sleeve though. So what am I gonna do for a do-rag? It's missing one sleeve. What'd you do with it? Why'd you keep it?
Make it a crop top, and you can use the bottom.
Yeah,
bottom ring.
Yeah. Also joining us is Colonel Panic himself, Joe Wilson from Angry Dad Streaming.
Hey, I found this Dakota ring in the mail, and it led me here. Is this the right room? Am I in the right room?
Might be. How do you feel on the main show, Joe? Was this a surprise?
No, I mean I pieced it together.
Okay.
Via Twitter. No, I don't know. I don't ever prepare for anything. I look at it and be like, okay, I can talk. I have a blurb I can say about all this stuff.
That's fair.
I'm good.
Yeah. Also joining us is the Jotun Toten Dead Man's shooting. I don't know. Guardian Games winning Josh Finney.
Close.
Goddamn right, we won Guardian Games.
Hi, Josh.
Hi, Corey.
Josh is here for a very specific reason.
A couple of very specific reasons, if you look at the show notes.
Yeah, but I mean, one very, very specific reason.
Yeah. Josh's legal corner.
Yeah. Instead of lore corner, legal corner. Josh's legal corner. None of us are authorized in any legal way, so please don't take any of the legal advice. We are not responsible for anything that you do with this advice, this non-advice we're about to read off. Yeah, a few quick things. Boss Rush Podcast is moving to Sunday nights because turns out when you have two kids, your time on Saturdays is very limited. Even when you don't have kids, it's limited, but there's two of them now, and my wife needs help wrangling them. So we're moving this show to Sunday nights. I don't know what's happening with Standard Def yet. I'm going to figure it out. It's on the shelf right here. So when we need to pull it back out, we'll just go whoop, pull it out. For you audio listeners, I've imitated pulling a book off the shelf because avid reader here.
Corey, I was very upset that we had no Standard Def because you and I could not talk about, for an entire episode, a new Muppets holiday special coming this year.
I mean, we can make a special if you want.
The fact that Muppets Haunted Mansion is coming has me extremely excited.
Who's everyone's favorite Muppet?
Oh God, dude, that's so hard. It's like
that is hard. That
is
hard.
Beaker and Bunsen Honeydew.
I mean,
they're a pair. They have to come together.
That's fair. Oh God.
All right, I'll allow it.
I don't know. Gonzo's.
I also accept Scooter.
I'm a Fozzie Bear person.
Yeah, Fozzie's probably the best. I'm gonna go with Fozzie.
What's wrong with you?
Hey,
Joe, what's yours?
Hey.
Ralph.
I like Ralph.
Hey, Joe. I noticed Standard Definition got put on hold because we ran it and we ran it like nobody's business.
I'm pretty sure the last time we got into every taboo topic and we just nosedived it into the ground as far as
Corey has some really entertaining notes because every time we hit a different topic, I just put it in a little notepad and I was like, oh, here's a new chat segment right here.
I mean, it's fair. It's fair.
Anybody that was on the fence about I don't know if this show's for me, I'd be like, are you a Republican?
Oh God.
Oh my God.
I don't know. I can't keep my mouth shut sometimes.
Wow, that went places.
Oh god, that one from a month ago was amazing.
Oh, man, I missed you guys. I mean, this is my third show back. I've done 2.
Well,
Tower
I can
casual,
say for sure I missed you, man. I can say that for sure.
Now, you only missed me because you had to do a bunch of extra shit. Okay.
There may be some truth to that. Like, here's what I know for sure. How long have you been doing the Boss Rush thing? How long have you been doing this?
I mean, this show in particular, about 2 years.
How long have you been doing the entire whole shebang, though?
About 7 or 8, 6,
Okay.
7, 8, something around there.
Okay. All right. I've only been here since July. This shit was hard.
I wasn't even supposed to be here today.
It's fair.
You know what? Misery loves company, Josh.
Yeah.
Get with the program.
It's true. It's true.
Hey, so side tangent in the middle of this show, I just got a warning on my computer that said it's time to restart your computer, and I just clicked wait an hour. Is that gonna restart on its own, or is it gonna give me another prompt?
Wait. Is this your Mac that you that is running your Windows OS right now?
Yeah.
What you need to do is go back to that thing and see if you can defer it for like 5 hours.
How do I do that? Somebody want to teach me Windows real quick?
Oh God.
What do I search in the taskbar?
I didn't know I'd be doing my job at like 9 o'clock on a Sunday night.
I'm not paying you either. So
do a search that says check for updates. It should bring you to the Windows update thing, and it should tell you if it's going to automatically restart on that thing.
Yeah, so
you might, Corey. What you want to do is you want to go check those.
We notice
show
you regularly
show
use your
notes.
device between the times of 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. Would you like Windows to automatically update your hours to match your activity? We won't restart. Pause updates for 7 days. That sounds like a good thing.
You know what? That works too.
Because that way, next Sunday when this problem happens again, I'll have to redo this again.
Right.
No, well, after you do what you gotta do with this show, then you tell it to go ahead and run that update.
All right, so I told the writing team I would integrate some topics from the the stuff that they're doing on the website for the writing stuff. So we have a daily thing that goes up on the website called Boss Rush Banter. It's a topic that somebody writes about, and we're going to talk about one of those topics that are coming up this week. That way we can integrate this topic into the writing piece. It's called Synergy, gentlemen. Synergy.
Is it synergy if you explain it beforehand?
It is.
Is it?
It is. It's more of an exclamation for the people who are listening to expect something like this every week from now on. So, one of the upcoming Boss Rush Banters, which is going up tomorrow as of this recording, from Stephanie, and says, what game series would you like to see as a movie? And I'm going to actually add TV series in there as well, because personally I think if you're going to translate games into another medium, TV would probably be a little bit more what do you call it, better.
Yeah, so. I feel like honestly, like video game movies, like they never get it right. I feel like they need the actual space of a TV series to do it, even if it's a mini series. I feel like they need that space, because video game movies are minefields. They are.
I don't know. Did you watch Doom? They added the first person sequence in there. It was pretty spot on.
That seemed pretty important.
It
was cool as hell. It was cool as hell. But you see, we're those weird gamers that, you know, like we know that they targeted us for this stuff, so we kind of look for it and we geek out on it, even if it's ridiculously terrible.
So,
I'm not saying that the first person sequence in the Doom movie was ridiculously terrible. That shit was badass.
It was okay, but I feel like you missed the point of like making it like the medium of it being a movie. Let me tell you how nervous I was to watch the new Mortal Kombat movie. Mm-hmm. Because I thought that it was going to be bad, because I genuinely thought that it would be slightly better than like okay. And I was nervous that I didn't want Mortal Kombat to be the first good video game movie. I just didn't want that to be...
God, can you imagine?
I didn't want that to be the bar, you know? Because then it would just be like, okay, now we're all going to be gratuitous, violent movies, those are going to be the video game movies. And I just didn't want that to be the thing. And how kind of relieved I was that movie, I would say, is very close to dog shit, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's like
right above it.
Right. It's like, it's kind of okay. But then also there are times where you're watching it and you're like, is this the porno version? Because the acting is really bad and the characters they chose and the way they dress is bad. Do they know? You didn't like the washed up MMA fighter being the main character? So like that guy was never in Mortal Kombat, right? Like that's like a new
original character.
He is?
Yeah.
Jesus. I don't know. I really didn't like a lot about it. And the only things that were good were like the exact 1-to-1 copies from the game, like Kano. Like he was like okay.
The fatalities were cool. I liked those.
Although I'm sorry. There's a time and a place to be kind of like action movie cheesy, and then to be like to have your character be like fatality at the end. Like, okay, I guess. Yeah, sure. Yeah. It just
that was pretty bad, but still.
Forced. But yeah, you're right. At least they did it. But it wasn't anyway. Yeah, movies to video games, there's never been a good one. So they have to try TV.
I mean, you didn't like Angelina Jolie's Tomb Raider?
I did like Detective Pikachu.
I didn't see it.
I like Detective Pikachu.
I still haven't seen Detective Pikachu, and do not start railing on me because you guys think I'm anti Nintendo or whatever. No, I don't know. Like I feel like
somebody call Ed.
To be fair, LaRon did like the Monster Hunter movie.
I did like the Monster Hunter.
So LaRon has no standard about it.
Have you guys seen the Monster Hunter movie?
I haven't. Is it? I'd be curious to watch it.
It's decent. It's decent. I gave it a B+. I fell
asleep the way through it because I thought it was terrible.
You fell asleep? You fell asleep through it?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it's fair.
The last movie that put me to sleep was Thor: The Dark World, so that's your bar.
Okay.
It's on par with a Marvel movie, is what Josh is saying.
It's on par with the absolute worst, most dog shit movie in the MCU.
Oh. No, the Dark World is not the worst Marvel movie. It is not. I will see your Thor: The Dark World and raise you freaking Iron Man 2. The only thing good about Iron Man 2 is Scarlett Johansson.
Iron Man 2.
And I'm saying a lot because I am not a Scarlett Johansson fan. I am not.
LaRon's just mad because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. isn't canon anymore.
We're not even going to start that. It's like, whose ass do I need to kick for this one? Did you see the thread I sent you, Corey? Did you read it?
I read some of it, yeah.
Some? You did? Man,
hey.
It's breaking my heart, man.
Games need to go to TV. That movies are not you cannot condense a game that's like a 10-15 hour single player campaign into a 2-hour movie.
Mm-hmm. Joe, what were you about to ask me about Monster Hunter? I really want to hear this question.
Do you think that, and it might be difficult to answer, but it is a genuine question. Do you think that your love of Monster Hunter clouds your judgment onto whether or not that's a good movie, or is it completely far from Monster Hunter?
I'm sure it did. I'm sure it did cloud my judgment. My love for Monster Hunter, my love for Mila Jovovich, it definitely clouded my view. But at the same time, I was expecting the movie to be bad, and it actually entertained me.
Is the cat in it?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Well, hold on.
Yeah.
Because I know how you feel about the Palicos. I know how you feel about it. The cat shows up, but he mainly shows up just to show that, hey, he's the chef.
Does it look like the cat in the game?
It looks very similar. I'm gonna say that. It doesn't look like some weird anthropomorphic nonsense. It looked pretty decent.
Darn.
All right.
It doesn't look like 2003's Planet of the Apes or whatever.
No.
I'm gonna say we've only ever had 2 legitimately good video game movies, and we've had 1 more that's passable.
Okay, the 2 legitimately good ones.
What are you 2?
My legitimate good ones: Detective Pikachu and Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. And then your passable one is Sonic.
I can't count Advent Children because it's a CGI movie.
Why not?
I can't-
It's still a
I
movie.
It's a CG movie made by Square Enix. Like, you know, we need to talk about people who
movie.
What now? What?
Actual movie.
I know it's an actual movie. I love Advent Children. I love Advent Children. And I can't wait for the 4K HDR Advent Children Complete when it comes out. But what I'm saying is, Square Enix, like, they did that. You know, that's like...
Okay, so I'm going to raise you this then. So if Square Enix making a digital movie does not count, if Pixar were to ever make a video game, would that not count as a video game?
Okay, that's a good question. That's a good question.
Because it's CG, it doesn't count. But as a movie, look at how much are CG.
The reason why I'm going to say that Pixar making a video game will count and won't be counted as... Square Enix is in the business of making video games, and since Final Fantasy VII, their video games are straight. There's straight movie stuff in it. So someone actually sat there, directed all that stuff and things like that. Yeah. Whereas Pixar, like Pixar, universally, they make a movie, and then someone else, a developer, makes a game for it. If they were to turn around and say, "Hey, we're gonna make games," I feel like it'd be a completely different, ball of wax there. So
Agree to disagree.
Ooh, I don't like that word.
I don't either, but we're going to be here all night otherwise.
Right.
That's fair. I really liked... okay, my taste in movies is subpar at best. But I think the best one I've seen... Like, I really liked Detective Pikachu. I really liked Sonic.
Sonic is worth it just for Jim Carrey as Dr. Eggman.
Yeah, I mean, he makes the whole movie, right? Like, I mean... I'm pretty sure that he makes the whole movie.
He's also the one that whenever they had the trailer, I'm like, why would you pick Jim Carrey?
I thought that too.
Yeah, see, I'll be honest with you. When I saw they casted Carrey as Robotnik, I was like, I'm not watching this movie.
I was like, yeah, that just seems like... I love Jim Carrey, but I wouldn't want to see him as Dr. Robotnik. And it turns out I was wrong.
A break with reality that it was a good role for him.
His character comes together in that last scene, and it's just perfect. And it's like, oh, I get it.
Yeah. Ben Schwartz as Sonic was a great casting too.
Also a great casting choice.
Mm-hmm.
But that was another one that I was like, why? Right. Why is Jean-Ralphio Sonic?
Right.
So basically, you guys are telling me I should watch Sonic, and
it's on Amazon.
And then I'm doing a horrible injustice by not watching Detective Pikachu. I see this is where this is going.
Not a horrible injustice, but it is. I mean, seeing Pikachu voiced by Ryan Reynolds is an experience. But
I do want to say that it was like, just from seeing Ryan Reynolds in 100 other things. Spoilers for Detective Pikachu, but seeing him like, well, I guess I don't want to ruin it if Laurent's going to go watch it. But seeing him.
You can go ahead and say what you gotta say.
Seeing him play a parent in that movie really threw me off. Like, it
was very weird.
Yeah. But otherwise, quite enjoyable.
The Pokemon designs are very, very good.
Yeah.
Mr.
Mime was very creepy.
I saw like an expose or whatever on like the creature design for the Pokemon and stuff like that, and that blew me away. Like, I mean, like, that does give me some interest in seeing it, but at the same time, I don't know. I don't have like. I never got into the Pokemon games, the card games, the manga, the anime. So it's one of those things.
You can get out.
See, but the different. I think I'm unraveling this. The two that you pick, and I haven't seen Detective Pikachu, but I can definitely see where it would be like a watchable movie, the same as Sonic is very watchable. Mm-hmm. The differences between both of those things is that it is not telling a very specific story necessarily, and they're leaning more into the acting chops of these people to bring the characters to life, and not just be like recreating the character that's so fleshed out on a video game already, which is why I think like the Halo thing is going to be bad.
It's going to be so bad.
I want it to be good, but it's not going to be, because like what what are the odds of it not disappointing you? Like, really, on a scale of 1 to 10?
5%.
Yeah, that's
So,
about
like,
right.
A 2, maybe like a 1 or a 2 on a scale of 1 to 10. Like, listen, I've suffered through Forward Unto Dawn. I've suffered through Nightfall.
Right.
It's not going to be good. The only thing they've ever made that was good was Legends, which is the anime-esque series.
Right, and that's very alienating. That is not for your, like, passive Halo fans.
No, that's for like Joe and I. That's for your hardcore fans. And even us, I think we're even a little...
Yeah. When you
start feel about this,
when you start seeing the elites like fully like naked, like scrambling around
it's not a great look.
It's like that's why they wear armor. It's not to look badass. It's just to look passable.
Yeah,
I can have on screen.
I really hope that this Ghost of Tsushima movie that Sony's making, because I feel like that is one of the few that could be really good, since it basically is a Kurosawa movie already.
Mm-hmm. But really hope that. Do you think that the existing source is too strong?
I do, and that's what I'm going to get. Though.
Yeah.
I don't think it should be a movie. I think Ghost of Tsushima should be a 8-episode miniseries.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that they canned the Last of Us movie and went to a miniseries for it. Like there's things like we just talked about how cinematic Square Enix games are. That's been my argument against Uncharted for the longest time. Mm-hmm. Why it does not need to be a movie or a TV series is it's already so cinematic. Like, there are points in those games where you're just, like, watching long cutscenes play out, long action cutscenes, and occasionally hitting a button.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see a movie of that when I've already gotten, like, 60 great hours of character development of Nathan, Elena, and Sully. Mm-hmm. I don't need a movie of that, especially one starring Mark Wahlberg and Tom Holland.
Well, you don't think Mark Wahlberg's going to be a believable Sully?
No.
You think he's going to have the mustache? You think he's going to have this?
Not even
so annoying.
I have no hope for that movie.
I don't either, especially after that Tom Holland interview that he did, where he was like saying that he was trying to make sure he got the cool poses for Nathan Drake. I'm like, what makes Nathan Drake
this
cool?
Movie, they would let him keep being Spider-Man.
Yeah. It's like what makes Nathan Drake cool is that he doesn't try to be cool. He's literally just fumbling his way through everything.
Yeah.
He's very much like an Indiana Jones with less swagger.
See, and there's the problem too. Like, you know, like all these franchises that I really love, like Resident Evil's happened, which, you know, I'm a fan of it, but yeah, like those movies weren't the best. You know, I got my entertainment out of them, but they weren't the best. You know, right. And then we have a literal franchise. We have a franchise that literally ran me out the door to buy a PlayStation 5, $600 on a PlayStation. I'm not PS5. I'm sorry, PS3. $600 for PS3. When I saw Uncharted get unveiled, I was like, oh, this is the game I'm going to buy a system for. You know, and we got a movie coming up on that, and of course I'm like, ugh, you know, and then, you know, the Monster Hunter movie came out, and I was really, really, really apprehensive about that. Like I said, I walked away entertained, but you know,
all hopes I think for a good Halo movie, like I promise I'll wrap this up. Like all hopes for a good Halo movie went out the door when Steven Spielberg was no longer attached to it. Mm-hmm. And I mean, originally I will say that I think the concept when they were going to make it back in like 2009. Or even before, was good when they kind of took some existing test footage and reworked it into those live action trailers for Halo 3.
Neil
Blomkamp, dude. I would have watched the Blomkamp movie, and like that's the whole reason District 9 got made is because it was a big apology from Peter Jackson.
But it was also using they repainted all the vehicles and stuff that they were going to use in that and the weapons, and just like we'll rematch them. And that's
like side note, that's like one of the greatest success stories in modern Hollywood history is District 9.
Yeah. Man, so District 9, let me tell you how much I hate CG in most movies because it's rushed. No one gets it. It degrades so much for the movie and it never ages well. And District 9, I was at the peak. I believe I was still in film school when District 9 came out, and I was at like peak snotty film student person, like whatever your derogatory term people used for me that I didn't know about, like that's what I was. I shoot only on film. I don't even like digital.
Oh god.
Oh yeah,
wow.
I was one of those guys. Oh, I like.
I actually use the special gloves and then tape it together.
Fucking school.
Wow.
I developed my own film and I cut on a flatbed. Like I was.
You're a nerd.
Fucking nerd.
Tarantino's
Nerd.
best friend.
Nerd.
God.
Anyway, when that movie came out, I remember several times being like, I was like nervous. I was like, I can't tell if it's real or fake. I don't know if it's a puppet or if it's CG. And my world fell apart.
Mhm.
Like I was just like, I don't know what that is. And then we watched the movie. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's CG, but it is fucking good CG because I can't tell most of the time. And it still holds up for the most part.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Sorry. District 9, 2 thumbs up.
Just to wrap this up, what is everybody's favorite? Just spit it out.
Castlevania.
It's a good one. I haven't
Favorite
watched it,
that
but I hear it's
exists?
good. Yeah, favorite that exists right now that you can watch somewhere. Anywhere.
Sonic. That was a defeated answer.
Super Mario Brothers starring John Leguizamo
That'd be awesome. That movie's awesome.
and Bob Hoskins.
You guys
And
are gonna,
Dennis Hopper as King Koopa.
King Koopa.
you
and
guys,
and the
guys are gonna give
Velociraptor
me-
from Jurassic Park as Yoshi.
You guys are gonna give me so much hell. Hell, the audience is gonna give me so much hell
Monster
for this
Hunter.
one. No, Resident Evil 5.
5.
Yeah,
Wow,
Okay.
they made that many.
Not even like number 3, number 5.
3
I
was, in my opinion, 3 was the worst one. In my opinion,
What?
Oh my god.
What?
No. Worst.
What is wrong with
video game
you?
movie? It just popped into my head. Worst video game movie? Remember House of the Dead?
yes.
You
No. Worst one, Alone in the Dark.
I've never even seen
What
it.
about
Don't.
what about the
Don't.
Max Payne movie?
So
Hey, listen, Mark Wahlberg tried his hardest.
That's fair.
no, he didn't.
Honestly,
He worked out his hardest.
you, I really liked the Assassin's Creed movie.
That was the one that I was certain was going to break the mold, and I have still not been able to live down that prediction.
I mean,
You and Michael Fassbender.
It's
it's
just-
really
it's just-
good though.
It's just so.
I thought it was a slam dunk. It's Michael Fassbender, Marion Cotillard, and a pretty good director who had worked with both of them.
Yeah.
I thought that was a slam dunk. Then they tried to make it canonical to the universe.
Also, it's been a long time since I've seen this movie. I also like Timothy Oliphant's Hitman movie, from what I remember.
I vaguely
Corey,
remember
Corey,
that
just
movie.
out of this topic.
Okay.
Later.
Well,
God.
there's your
Probably extract
episode 93 Boss Rush Banter. You can put that in your article there.
Oh,
You
I
wrote
can't
that.
wait.
Stephanie's
I can't
writing
wait to
it. There you
I
go.
can't wait to see the comment chain on it when it gets published.
Hey
I can't
man,
wait.
we just had a 20-minute conversation on this, so
Would it be crazy if people were commenting verbatim what we said tonight on this show?
I mean,
in the comments.
that'd be awesome. I hope they do. Anyways, this is the Boss Rush podcast, if I can find the housekeeping. This is the Boss Rush podcast, a flagship show of the Boss Rush Network, where each and every week we get together with our friends from around the internet, talk about video games and everything we love about them. You can catch the show live on twitch.tv/BossRushGamesLive, now on Sunday nights or on Mondays on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or other podcast apps, as well as our YouTube channel. Please like, subscribe, and share. Please leave us a 5-star review and a nice comment on Apple Podcasts. It really helps us grow. You can email the show at bossrushnetwork@gmail.com or follow us on Twitter at bossrushnetwork. Join our Discord or our Facebook group to be a part of our awesome communities. Find all of our content on bossrushgames.com. Before we get to the return of Greg Osterman's questions, because I actually have a stash of these questions from him. Okay, because LaRon didn't ask me for them, and then I forgot about them, and then I didn't send them because I forgot about them.
I asked you 1 week and you were radio silent, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna leave him alone.
Yeah, I don't remember what week that was. I was probably being screamed at in the face by one of the 3 other human beings that live in my house. Anyways,
Send some of those to Crossroads. We need
I'll
questions.
I'll send you some if
we-
you want.
We beg for questions. It doesn't seem to be happening. Nobody likes us.
Well, there's probably a couple of reasons why.
We got rid of Logan, though. I mean, that should help, right?
I know. Don't worry, Laurent. I'll be there on Tuesday.
Yeah, yes. I can't wait.
Man, I'm doing like every show this week. It's gonna be awful.
We'll go easy on you, bro. We'll go easy on you.
Where was I going with this? I don't remember.
Before Greg's question.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Joe. I just want to acknowledge some things that happened in our community the last couple of weeks. I've had to delete comments and ban some people from our Discord and our Facebook group and stuff for saying heinous things about people. There's no room for that. There's room for everybody here. If you're going to be nice, if you're going to be good, if you're going to, be positive force in the community, if you're going to use racial slurs, if you're going to use homophobic slurs, if you're going to make people feel like crap, you are not welcome here. And, I don't want to make this a big thing, but I'm just letting you guys know. I had to delete some comments off of our website and our Facebook page. Get out of here. That's all I have to say. We're going to move on to Greg Osterman's question. He says, "Hey, gang, it's me, Greg. You know me as the food guy. I never know what show to write into. Axe and Standard F emails have been silent." Sorry, Greg. That's my fault. That's my fault. And I know some things are changing, so I thought if anywhere would see this, it would be the main site email. My question is this: what is the weirdest thing you've ever eaten? You know what, Josh? I'm going to go your way because I'm sure you have something weird that you've eaten before. You look like someone who enjoys weird food.
I don't know that it's so much weird. I'm actually I've had uncanny luck with food that I've eaten, but going to Europe, specifically Eastern Europe, was an experience. The worst thing I've ever eaten was Russian yogurt. It tasted like it, and it probably was expired.
Is it the stuff that kind of looks like cottage cheese?
Yeah, kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
I took one bite of it, and my parents warned me. They're like, "Do not eat that. They're like, do not do it." And I'm like, "I'm hungry though." Like, I was 16. I was a fat kid. I was hungry, and I took a bite, and I'm pretty sure I immediately spit it out on the back of the seat in front of me on the airplane.
Delightful.
It tasted. I cannot emphasize enough how bad this tasted. It was so bad. It was like spoiled milk, but in yogurt form. Like, it may have just been spoiled milk put into a yogurt container.
Nice.
What is
it? Was bad. But as bad as that was, I've also had something else that sounds like a very bad decision, but in retrospect is one of the best meals I've ever had. I had a cheeseburger at a 7-Eleven in Stockholm, Sweden. And that is the best goddamn burger I've ever had in my entire life. I promise you, that is the best burger I've ever eaten.
I mean, was this like a Sheetz or a Wawa gas station? Because I've eaten.
What's a Wawa?
It's like Sheetz. Do you know what Sheetz is? It's like a gas station. It's like a. What do you go in and it's like a gas station you can sit down and eat at. It's like
in Texas we have those. We have McDonald's though usually attached. I don't trust anything that's built into a gas station as a food place.
Things change when you get out this way.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Joe, you live in Pennsylvania.
You
know what Sheetz is.
I know what a Sheetz is. I know what a Wawa is. We have Get-Go's. I don't know if you have a Get-Go.
Yes, we have Get-Go's.
It was weird because it wasn't a gas station. Like 7-Eleven's not a gas station in Europe. It's quite literally a corner market, and they have a deli counter in there, like a deli and like a little grill counter, and there's like fucking businessmen sitting there in suits.
The address was just 7-Eleven. It wasn't a 7-Eleven. It was 7-Eleven something else.
Dude, it was so weird. Like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, I'm really hungry. I don't have a whole lot of time before I got to get back on the cruise ship. Like, I need to get something to eat though, because I'm not gonna make it like another hour and a half on the bus back there. So I went in there and was like, all right, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get a burger. I got a burger and fries, and let me tell you, man, I got one to go after that. They looked really weird. When I asked for it to go, they just kind of stared at me, and I was like, yeah, I want it to go. I'm going to eat it while I'm walking back. Walk up to my parents, and they're like, Oh, you found lunch? I was like, yeah, it's my second burger. It was fantastic. So yes, if you ever make your way to Sweden, go get a burger at 7-Eleven.
I got to tell you though, at Sheetz, I don't know if your Sheetz have deep fried pickles, Joe.
I think they do.
Dude, I remember one time I was on my way home from my friend's house because I used to go over there every Wednesday night to game, and I'd always stop at Sheetz on the way home. I used to be really fat. Okay, I got an order of onion rings and an order of deep fried pickles, as well as a 12-inch sandwich. Let me tell you, when you put deep fried pickles in your mouth with an onion ring, as you dip it into some boom boom sauce, there's nothing better. I gotta tell you, boom boom sauce. I wish they sold it by the bottle.
I mean, you could probably just pay like 29 cents.
I know, I probably could too. I probably could. It's amazing. Just gonna let you know, it's delightful. So, it's not really weird stuff, but it's delicious. I do have to tell you guys about the story about the green cheese pizza that me and my cousin ate at Little Caesars inside of Kmart.
Oh,
it was very bad.
Go on.
So my cousin sells a lot of stuff on eBay, and like I used to go with him to try to look for stuff that was on clearance to collect and stuff. And we hadn't eaten all day. We were driving around. It was somewhere up in Michigan. I don't even know where. We were on our way back. We were so hungry. We stopped at this 24-hour Kmart, and inside was a Little Caesars. And we were like, let's just get pizza. We'll get going, whatever. We go up there. The hot and ready pizza looked like it had been hot and ready for about 6 or 8 hours. Just sitting there. The cheese was like, it was green. There's no way around it.
That's the fluorescence.
No, it was not the fluorescence, because we went out. We got it. We went out. We were like, is this cheese really green? We went out. It was a shade of green that I don't know if you could find in a 96 crayon box. I can tell you. We were like, okay, whatever. We're tired. We're hungry. It tastes like pizza, so we're just going to eat it. Dude, I shit you not. 40 minutes later, we're looking. That's
exactly what you did.
You were shitting.
That sounds like you did.
Us.
We're looking. No, we're looking for somewhere. And there was a 24-hour Target. We ran in there to shit. There was no toilet paper. So we made his friend get up from pooping, go out to the store, get toilet paper, and bring it back to us. Like, he took it off of the shelf. He didn't even ask an employee for it. He went and got the most expensive toilet paper. That was a great day.
Did you also then get a Pizza Hut pizza from Target?
No.
Before you left?
No. This Target didn't have a Pizza Hut in it. It only had like a Starbucks or something in it.
I feel like Corey was a little gun shy on pizza after that.
Nope. I think we got it the next weekend when we went out.
What is wrong with you?
Pizza's good.
Pizza's gone.
I have not had Little Caesars since then, though.
That's a bummer. I don't like hearing a bad pizza story.
Yeah.
I mean,
just like break your heart, Joe.
It did. I thought about, like, while you're eating the Little Caesars, you're like crying over it. You're like, you don't deserve this to the pizza.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, it was a Little Caesars pizza, so that was the setup right there.
What's wrong with Little Caesars pizza, LaRon? You too good for Little Caesars?
Okay, the last. I'm trying to think here. I can't. I want to say it's been a good 7 years since I had Little Caesars pizza, and the last time I had that, I swear to you, like if the Hurt Locker is a real thing, that's where it put my ass. I'm gonna say that much.
Jesus.
I mean, I don't know what was worse, the reflux I got from the abundance of grease, and trust me, I used to have one of those cast iron stomachs where it's like the greasiest food. Like I could eat it and have like a glass of water or whatnot, and I'm good. I'm not sure if it was that. I'm not sure if it was just if maybe it was just simmering underneath the heat lamp too long. I'm not sure what it was. I'm not sure if they just did something with the dough for the crust. But oh my god, like if you could say, like, you know, like having like 10,000 horses trample your stomach, you know, and surviving that's really what it felt like happened to me. So, you know, I'm one of those people. I'm like, if you really don't love yourself, go ahead and have Little Caesars pizza.
So, Little Caesars, I started to look it up one day. There was a Little Caesars near where I used to work, and it had good pizza. Because I've had bad Little Caesars before, and this one you go to, and it's like, this is good. And like, it was fairly consistently good. They're all pretty much franchises, but looking into Little Caesars is like it seems like they're a really good company because they're like really small and they donate a lot. And I think they're based out of Chicago, so they give a lot back to the community. It's really weird because I have had that bad Little Caesars experiences, but I want to root for them so bad. And I have no idea why. I mean, other than what I've read on the internet, who knows?
Joe wants to humanize Little Caesars.
I do, but I agree. The gambit of it's real bad. I used to work in one where there was like a Kmart. I worked in a mall, and Kmart was attached to the mall. There was Little Caesars in there. And
you sold me the bad pizza.
I did. Well, they had an employee discount. If you worked in the mall, they gave you a discount on the pizza. It was $3 for a large pizza. Let me tell you, as a broke ass kid that would like run his debit card as credit at the gas station the night before I got paid so I could fill up my car with gas because it wouldn't clear till tomorrow. I had a lot of Little Caesars pizza from like ages 18 to probably 21 or 22. A lot of Little Caesars pizza.
A lot,
he says.
It's like one a week. You could do that, and then you could space it out. Have one for breakfast. Have one for lunch the next day.
Oh God. Oof.
LaRon, what about you? What's the weirdest thing you've ever put in your mouth?
Okay.
This food.
Food. Yeah. Not Oof.
I mean,
that's a story for another day.
I mean, it is in Oregon though, so I mean, you know.
Oh God.
What did you say?
That he likes toes.
Okay, so the weirdest thing that I've actually like had, and it wasn't really subjected to me. It was one of those things. It was like, let me do the setup here. Like I have a lot of Asian friends, and their families are really nice and good to me and stuff like that. But you know, different cultures, you know, they do different things with different parts of foods and stuff like that. So I was at one of these big party events for I want to say it was an anniversary for one of my good friends' parents. They've been married for I think they had been over 30 years, and so they had like a really big shindig, and they had like a really bunch of authentic food and everything, Filipino food and stuff like that. And I remember having I remember there was a dish. And I was having it, and it was really good. It was really good. I knew it was a beef dish and whatnot. Apparently, though, like what the actual beef ingredient was actually shaved cow's tongue. But I tell you what, it was good. And I'm one of those people. This is weird for me because I'm one of those people when I know what a certain animal part is, like it is usually going to turn me off from eating it. But it was so amazing and stuff like that wound up being my signature dish for tonight. I had like 3 servings of that, and everybody was like, "Wow, you're really liking that," because like the other American, you know, the American people there were definitely shying away from it. Hang on a second, I gotta step away. Hang on.
Lame. Well, that's our food segment for the night, I guess.
Thanks for making us relive the horrors of Little Caesars.
Yes, thank you, Greg Osterman III, he says. So
pizza.
Oh God. All right, so real quick, we're gonna just talk about what we've been playing or doing. Since I was on the show last, I've been playing a lot. Mostly Outriders and Destiny. Surprise, Destiny. But I really enjoy Outriders too. I'm I haven't had any of the weird glitches or anything that anybody's had. So it's fun. It's cheesy. It's dumb. It's like it feels like the story and stuff feels like what everybody thinks Gears story is or was when the game came out, right? Where it's like over the top, cheesy, just blown shit up, whatever. It's really
This
fun.
makes Gears of War look like an award-winning storyline.
Mm-hmm. It does.
This is like comparing Gears to The Last of Us.
Yeah, it's fine.
Whoa.
I don't care. I just want to blow shit up. That's why I'm playing this game. I'm not playing this game for a Last of Us experience. Although I didn't play The Last of Us either. So, whatever. I also was going to start Final Fantasy 12 for some reason on my Switch. And then Dan and I started talking about Final Fantasy 10 on Discord with Sappy from Lore Corner. And I re-downloaded Final Fantasy 10 and I played through the intro of Final Fantasy 10. So that might not go anywhere, but I did play
How long was the intro?
It's like 45 minutes. It's like right where you get up to where he lands on the beach and meets Waka for the first time. That's where I'm at. So where he realizes he traveled like 1,000 years into the future and nobody knows where he's from or if he's lying or not. So
Wait, what? You time travel in this game?
did you not play Final Fantasy?
Wait,
10?
are you?
Okay. For a second, I thought you were still talking about Outriders. Like I just completely blanked out. How much farther are you than me in that game?
I was thinking we were being trolled right now. I really thought we
I know.
were
I couldn't
when
tell.
he asked that question.
Final Fantasy. So
I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell if Josh was.
Woo!
You all right there, Josh? You feeling okay?
It's like the fuck is Wawa?
He's still talking about Wawa. What?
He's got the adrenaline needle from Pulp Fiction in his chest. We need to give it a tap.
Yeah. But also, and I'm sure you guys talked about this on other shows, but I finished Falcon and the Winter Soldier also.
Did you cry?
Did I cry?
Yeah.
I felt it. I felt like, man, this was great. I wish it was longer. I felt there was a couple story things I could have used about 2 more episodes. But I look forward to seeing him become Captain America. So it was cool. It was good. I liked it. So that's kind of everything for me. So who's next? Joe, I haven't talked to you in a hot second.
So
I have watched some Angry Dad streaming though.
Have you?
I have.
It's all right. We got some changes coming up that I can share them with you later. One you already know about, but
Yeah.
we need to get some fresh content in there. It's a lot of Warzone. Been taking a little break from Warzone.
Well, one of the archived things I watched the other day was Halo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've played Halo before. I haven't played Halo in the past 3 weeks. I played a lot of Destiny. I finally hit max light level in that for the time being, just in the nick of time. And literally the last drop that I got was the thing that I needed.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually how it goes, right?
Makes sense, yeah.
The last thing you get makes you highest light level.
This is the one that it was. But I've been playing more. I've played Returnal a lot recently.
How is it?
I really, really, really like it. Like it is. Have you guys ever played Hotline Miami?
Yes.
So that's one of my favorite games. I really love that game. But you know how like when you die, you're like instantly back.
Mm-hmm.
And like it has that type of feel where you don't have time to be frustrated sometimes, and like you die a lot in that game, but it's a weird thing to get used to. But I find that it loads in quick enough that you're almost more motivated when you die. Like, okay, we're not going to do that again. Like you need to you learn something every time. Like, okay, I'm going to do this, and I'll go here, and I'll do this. It's very challenging. I love the particle effects. I love the fact that like her spacesuit, as you like crawl around in this very wet planet, it gets all like gunky, and the mud builds up and retains over time, but then if you like do like a dash, some of it comes off. There's a lot of cool little details like that. A lot of heavy lore, a lot of exploration. Has that very I know that they would call it like a Metroid style game, but I always think of it more of like Zelda and the Ocarina of Time, where like you see those things, you're like, I need to know. You can tell that there's something that'll get me up there, or there's something that I'll use here, but you don't have it yet. I love that feeling of like that. Like, I'm gonna have to come back and do this once I have all the other equipment. There's a lot of that in it. It's a very good game. It feels very well done. It does feel a little long because you can't save, and because there's no saving. So unless you do like the resume, if you're you either have to finish and die, or and you have to finish the game obviously in one playthrough, like one setting almost. You know what I mean? If you make it to the boss, you have to do that in like one sitting. It feels a little too long, especially with kids, and the fact that I have to like take breaks. It's challenging there. Anyway, so I've been playing that. It's good. It's worth it. And I've been watching. Oddly enough, I've watched 2 shows. I've watched Ted Lasso.
God, I love Ted Lasso.
And let me tell you that we all know that I hate sports for the most part. I would say for the most part, just leaving a little bit of margin of error, and like.
I thought you were the sports guy here.
People, are you not? I say I hate most sports, so it's like, oh, the sport you like though is okay.
He likes curling.
I like curling
and shot put.
I like bowling. I like watching.
God,
bowling.
you square.
It's because you can. It's because you can scoop those nachos while you're throwing the ball down the lane. You know what I mean?
Cheese sticks. I get cheese sticks at the bowling alley, sir. Lubes my fingers.
Christ.
So, I've been watching Ted Lasso, and it's a treat.
Jason Sudeikis is a gem.
Talk about a movie that just solves everything the most positive way you could ever solve a problem. So easy to watch. I recommend anybody that needs a little bit of levity, you want to watch that thing that's like The Office, where I can just watch an episode and be like, I don't hate anybody else. I don't feel bad. I'm not going to think about like my creepy racist uncle and how much of a shithead he is or anything like that. Like, you just watch that and you'll be like, oh, I'm going to fade away now. It's great. And to counter that, I've been watching Mayor of Eastwood on HBO with Kate Winslet, and it takes place near Philadelphia, and everyone has really thick accents. And me being not from that area, but around that accent a lot, makes me feel real bad about myself, because I wonder how much of that comes through when I talk. It's real weird. They actually just made fun of it on SNL last night, how thick the accents are. They're like, we feel like it's authentic because the accents are so strong.
God.
It's a good show, though. It's like a murder, drama, cop, detective movie. Set in the middle of nowhere. It's good. It's a good watch if you like that sort of dark thing. It's not that dark, but it's darker. That's all for me.
Am I up next?
Go,
sure.
Ron.
Okay. Well, you guys already know what I've been playing as far as video games go. I'm currently still playing Monster Hunter. That's the only game I've actually been playing, and it's kind of embarrassing for me because I do run the PlayStation show for Boss Rush. So why haven't I picked up Returnal yet? I don't know. It's coming though. But yeah, like, I'm really enjoying it. You guys may or may not have heard me say this. I'm not sure if you were any of the shows when I was talking about it, because like Monster Hunter's been out for over a month now. Monster Hunter Rise. One thing I noticed was it seemed like the game was like very casual friendly, and I've been playing the series since like 2004, but when it was a new idea and stuff like that, and the game was like balls crushingly hard back in those days because the learning curve was so steep. As more and more Monster Hunter games came out, it's been streamlined and things like that, and so it's gotten more pickup friendly for people who never played the game before, which is cool. I love a lot of the quality of life stuff that happened and changed in it. But with Rise coming out, hot on the heels of Monster Hunter World. The one thing I noticed was I was like, man, the game is too freaking easy, even for somebody like me that has like over 17 years experience playing the game and stuff like that. So, not that I was not enjoying the game, it was just a situation where I was like, I need kind of a challenge. Well, the 2.0 patch came out 2 weeks ago, and it gave me what I needed. So now I'm really enjoying the game and everything, and it's actually really carving into my time. Unlike my buddy Galatrad, who's my partner for the Hunters for Hire podcast show, I'm pretty sure he has 400 hours in the game. I finally just crossed 100 hours into the game, so there's that. But yeah, still playing Monster Hunter Rise. I don't see myself stopping to play that anytime soon. And Capcom has some sheer nerve releasing another Monster Hunter game while there's still a new Monster Hunter game out, coming soon in July. But whatever, I'll deal with it. I'll be playing 2 Monster Hunter games. But I also did sit down and watch the premiere of the Bad Batch for off of Disney Plus, and I kind of like the direction it's going. It's the new Star Wars animated series. I do like the way it's going. It's pretty cool. Like basically the Bad Batch is a handful of characters that are introduced, if I'm not mistaken, just in the 7th season of the Clone Wars, which happened last year.
Yes.
Yeah. And they were a cool addition to that 7th season. I feel like in some parts, like when they were brought into the 7th season, they were more like for filler episodes, because I enjoyed season 7 of the Clone. Josh.
You did a straight anime face.
Okay, well, let me ask you this, Josh, real quickly. The Bad Batch episodes. I know why. I know, honestly, like based off of what happens going on right now in the Bad Batch the series, I know why they were introduced in season 7 of the Clone Wars. But to a certain extent, do you? I know you disagree with me as far as like I'm thinking it could have been filler episodes, because there was a lot of meatier stuff going on in that 7th season. Especially the way the 7th season wrapped up. It basically wrapped up, with the whole Order 66 thing.
So I would disagree with it being filler. Bad Batch is one of the last things that and the Siege of Mandalore were the 2 final things that George Lucas kind of dictated to Dave Filoni for the Clone Wars before it got canceled years ago. And they had storyboarded multiple Bad Batch storylines that they ended up not using, and they just used the intro arc because they felt with only 1 season there wasn't enough to go off of. But that arc there is actually really important for us seeing the machinations behind the Separatists and the undermining of the Republic. Like, Echo kind of thinks he knows, but he doesn't know because he's been so drugged and he's hallucinating and he's been tortured, essentially. Like, he's a POW. But seeing him join the Bad Batch is a cool thing. Like, this essentially canonizes Republic Commando. That's probably the closest thing you can pitch Bad Batch as, is these characters are very similar to how the Republic Commandos in Delta Squad act in the original game. Gotcha. Like, Wrecker's a bit more juvenile. Like, it's a kid's show, obviously, and not a rated T video game with, alien blood squirting everywhere. But that's my take on what it is, essentially. Like, this is something that George really wanted. And the TV show came after the fan reception to the Bad Batch. Like, if you could hear the reaction that was in the room at Celebration when they said that was going to be the opening arc of Season 7, everyone went apeshit in that arena.
Okay, thanks for clearing that up for me. Like I'm not the biggest Star Wars.
I'm not a huge Clone Wars fan, but I love the characters in the Bad Batch.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's the one thing I will say. I love these characters that were introduced and everything like that. So for anybody that's out there listening as a Star Wars fan, forgive me for saying I felt like it was filler. Where my head was at the particular time, because I knew how Season 7. When they announced Season 7, I knew how Season 7 of Clone Wars was going to be. It was basically going to be the bridge between the beginning and the end of the Revenge of the Sith that gets us to Episode 4, or actually it releases more to Rogue One, but whatever. But yeah, like with the Bad Batch, because I've only watched the pilot, I haven't watched the second episode yet. I'm going to watch the second episode probably after we wrap up this show tonight. I'm enjoying it. I like it, and and there's a lot of nice little surprises in there. It's nice seeing some more familiar faces showing up, like Moff Tarkin, for example. Well, he's still Admiral Tarkin in this particular period in time, but it was cool seeing his character come back and stuff like that, And what I like about this is I'm one of those people, like I've been when we transitioned from the Republic to the Empire. Like, there are certain things I was always wondering what happened, and the fact that they were on Camino and stuff, because that was one of the things I was like, this is like going to be a dirty little secret, like what are they going to do with the Caminoans and all that stuff. So like I like where it's going, and I'm hoping to see. We also saw the return of Saw Gerrera, the younger version of him, and things like that. So it's been pretty cool. Like I'm enjoying it.
There's a lot of connective tissue to the other animated series in this one. Like, it's very clear this is meant to be, in a lot of ways, the bridge between Clone Wars and Rebels, as far as like the Filoni-verse goes.
Yes.
We know from the trailer that Fennec Shand from The Mandalorian, Ming-Na Wen's character, is going to show up. We know that
really?
Captain Rex is going. Yeah, she's shown in the announcement trailer for Bad Batch.
See, I didn't see that, so I wouldn't even know.
She's in it. She's in her armor, but she removes her helmet at one point. She's in it. We know that Captain Rex is going to be in it in an upcoming episode. There's a few other cameos, or there's another major cameo, I guess I would say, in the Bad Batch in the premiere episode that I don't want to spoil for anybody. Mm-hmm. But I mean, we have 2 episodes out right now. Episode 2 has a callback to one of the best episodes of Clone Wars, in my opinion.
The overall series, or the most recent season?
The overall series.
Okay.
It's one of the best episodes. I think it really calls back to that. But this is a show that 2 episodes in, I think you can enjoy the pilot on its own, because it's basically a movie. And the animation is so much better than any of the other Filoni shows. But episode 2 is where it goes, okay, this is the I had with this show. It feels much more like a kid show. Like, not as kiddie as like the first season of Rebels or the first season of Clone Wars. Like, it doesn't feel as disjointed. Yeah. Because I think Dave Filoni's learned a lot, especially from working on season 7 of Clone Wars and on Mandalorian. Mm-hmm. But it's still very much like something you have to keep in mind when we say like, I don't really like this. Like, this is a series ultimately aimed at children. Like, it's a little bit more mature than the opening seasons of the others, but I mean, look how mature Clone Wars and Rebels get by the end of their runs. Like, Grand Admiral Thrawn is in a fucking children's show.
Yes.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling you're going to see a lot more connective tissue to Rebels, to Ahsoka, and to The Mandalorian as we go further. Like, if you don't have Ahsoka in this, that feels like a missed thing from Dave Filoni. Like, I don't think she needs to be in it, but it feels like he's going to shove her in no matter what.
Yeah.
So.
Well, here's my thing, because everybody knows I'm a Star Trek guy, but I've always loved like the extended canon of Star Wars. I've always loved it. So this stuff just pulls me in. So I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing so far. Is this a one-off series, or is it going to be like a it probably is going to be a one-off.
They haven't been really clear on it. We know right now this season will consist of 16 episodes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay. So I personally feel like it's only going to be one season. I think it's really hard to justify keeping it going without a major time skip.
Yeah.
Even after 2 episodes, it feels like you're going to be running out of storylines real fast, especially if you're just like kind of circling around the characters we already know and not doing like unique storylines. Like, it doesn't feel like they have arcs planned for this.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious to see how they wrap this up. Like, I assume they want to see what viewership numbers look like first, but this just reinforces I want to see a mature animated series from the Star Wars universe. Invincible has shown that can work. You need to do it with Star Wars at a certain point, and I feel like Bad Batch is a missed opportunity where you could have done, like, I'm not talking like, oh, we need a rated R one that like shows the nitty gritty of war, but like something that's like aimed more towards like, I would say like college aged people. Mm-hmm. Like something that's aimed more towards like the 18, 19-year-olds out there and not towards like 8-year-olds to sell toys. But ultimately, that's what Star Wars is. Star Wars is a children's franchise. Yeah. We are fortunate enough that there's been enough adult content over the years, though, or like underlying storylines that we get invested in. This is a space fantasy about laser swords at the end of the day.
Right. The other thing I'm going to add in is like if you're a Star Wars Rebels fan, like you actually get to see the event that causes Kanan Jarrus's distrust of all clones, because that's a big deal when Ahsoka shows up in the second season of Rebels. It's a big deal, because when Ahsoka comes back, she comes back with Rex, and everyone's like, these are clone troopers, and Kanan is immediately like, I'm not with this crap. So yeah, like you actually see in the premiere, like in the first 15 minutes of the premiere, Kanan Jarrus and what happens with him for why he has distrust, and also why he has to go undercover from the Order.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So there's my spiel. Like I'm loving the Bad Batch, though. I like all the. So far, I've liked all the animated series that the Star Wars has done. Even when the Clone Wars was hokey in like the first couple of seasons, I enjoyed it. But Rebels and everything they've done after that, has been spot on for me. It's just been pure entertainment, and I love it.
Cool. I still need to watch it. I might watch it. I don't know. I've been watching the Mighty Ducks, so.
Is it good?
It is. It's very good. It's a family show, though. It's not like people are stabbing each other with their skates or anything. It's none of these.
Is Emilio Estevez in this?
He is.
Gordon Bombay.
Yeah. He owns the ice rink.
From Hans.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. It's a direct sequel to the movies. So.
I may peep it eventually.
I mean, don't go in expecting like, oh man, I remember the Mighty Ducks. This is exactly the same, because it's not.
Oh, I don't remember Mighty Ducks at all.
Oh.
I remember the animated show.
No, it's not a sequel to that.
It's a shame. That was great.
Corey, there's a movie on Netflix called The Mitchells versus the Machines.
Yes, we just watched it tonight.
It's on my list.
It's very good.
I watched it tonight.
I did too.
The children.
Yeah, it was very good.
Child. Yeah, it was very entertaining. It was very into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah,
feeling.
Well, it's that same team.
It's the same. It's the same studio. It's the same studio.
So
yeah, it's a cool mix of like cartoon / CG.
Yeah, it's awesome. It was very good.
Yeah.
So, anybody else? Because I know we want to talk.
I've watched Bad Batch and I've played Borderlands. There we go. We're done.
Borderlands
3.
Ooh.
The game was on sale for like $15 a couple weeks ago. Picked it up to play with our friend Nerd Generalist, and then I grabbed the season pass this week for half off.
Nice.
Oh, go ahead.
Which half did you get?
Ha.
So it's funny that you asked that because there's 2 season passes.
Now,
there's plenty of content though. I like it.
Was the price of the season pass more or less than the age of the girl in Randy Pitchford's drive?
Christ. Do you know how that made the
everyone.
news here in Dallas? That made the news here in Dallas because Gearbox is in Frisco.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was on like all the networks, and my grandma was calling me. She's like, "Do you play that Borderlands game?" And I was like, "No, why?" She's like, they're talking about somebody who made some video game, and it sounds like something you would play." And I'm like, oh God, what happened? Because that was how I found out about the Randy Pitchford thing, was my grandmother calling me.
Frisco or Frisky?
That was very alarming for a phone call to receive.
Oh man, Joe, I'm glad you're here. This is amazing.
I'm good. Corey, I'm ready to. I'm ready to go.
Okay. Timestamp time. Nice. Thanks for filling that time with those bloops and bleeps. So our first story here, and this is the reason why Josh is here tonight. Among other reasons, because we like him, but mostly because of this. A lot of news has come out of the Apple versus Epic court battle, including a lot of information about the Epic Store, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo Mobile, and more. Josh, I know you've taken a lot of notes about this because I don't have time. So
yeah,
give us the scoopity scoop.
I have some bullet points here. I have it mainly like the legalese is still really confusing to me. I've been following some really good reporters who have actually been listening to and like transcribing the calls. Specifically, The Verge is doing really, really good work over there. I'm trying to remember her name. Addie is one of the writers over at ADI. I don't remember her Twitter handle, but she's been incredible covering this. So a lot of this is kind of siphoned from her listening to the calls. I attempted to listen, and there were just a whole bunch of kids screaming "Free Fortnite" at the beginning because they did not mute all active participants on the first day. So that was kind of amusing to me. But
like a lot of stuff probably do.
A lot of stuff came out about this. There's no less than like 15 to 20 third parties to this lawsuit trying to get documents redacted and sealed. And a lot of those documents were not. Among the juiciest of those were relating to Sony and Microsoft, specifically Sony and how they handle crossplay. And Epic basically offered them a king's ransom to get Fortnite to go crossplay, including exclusive promotions. Fortnite would be, or PlayStation would be the official console of Fortnite. They would sponsor tournaments at E3 and like invitationals and all this and that. And Sony wouldn't budge on it. Sony wanted a cut of the microtransactions that would be made beyond the normal cut if they were going to enable crossplay. And they have a document that came out. And Sony's really upset about this particular document coming out that states that, I want to make sure I have this right. I want to read my note here. I got to find it on here. Sorry.
It's not okay.
Okay, yeah, I can't find where I put. Okay, here we go. So, in certain circumstances, Epic has to pay Sony for crossplay when PlayStation's players contribute more than a certain percentage of revenue to a crossplay title. So, say 40% of your players are buying things on the 40 or 50% are buying something on the PlayStation Store, as opposed to like 25% on Xbox, 10% on Switch, and like 20% on PC. Epic has to pay Sony to compensate for that. And it is implied through these documents that this is the case for all crossplay titles with microtransactions, which is why it takes so long to negotiate some of these. We suspect that the same is true for Destiny, for Rocket League, for Apex, especially Apex Legends, probably Warzones. And you cannot buy currency and transfer it. Previously, we thought that was because of Steam sales. This seems to confirm that it is not, that this is due to other factors. And this may be why it took so long to get crossplay onto a game like Destiny or onto Apex, which took a couple of years to get to that point. That's one of the probably juicier tidbits that's come out. And that's not even related to this case, which is the funniest thing, right? Like, it is, but it isn't. The ultimate issue is Epic is trying to establish that the Apple App Store policies are draconian, which they are, and that they make special exceptions to certain companies they want to work with, like Amazon Video, Comixology, Spotify, Netflix, all those. And kind of as like a side story to this is Microsoft's xCloud. And Lori Wright from Xbox, one of their senior VPs of hardware and I believe of streaming, had to go up on the stand as a witness for both Epic and for Apple and testify about it. And even the judge was confused on this. Why will you not allow the xCloud app on the App Store? And because Lori Wright's whole thing was trying to make it clear that xCloud is not a competitor to Apple Arcade, which it's not. It's laughable if you try to put those into the same category because they're not even close. And also kind of supporting that Fortnite is its own thing as well, because they're trying to establish that Fortnite is a platform not just for gaming, but for creating, for concerts, for movies. Like they brought the Christopher Nolan stuff as an example. They had to try and explain to court reporters what the metaverse is. Trying to explain all these different pop culture properties coming together, that Christopher Nolan supports them, that they've done Travis Scott concerts, Marshmello, things like that. Some of the other tidbits that we've found out throughout this case, and these are just, again, bullet points, like the actual Apple versus Epic story isn't that interesting because it looked like Apple was really winning, especially after Tim Sweeney's disastrous testimony the first 2 days. Like, he's the worst person Epic could have possibly put up there. He shot them repeatedly. He shot himself repeatedly on the stand. It was pretty bad. But all of their supporting witnesses from outside of Epic have actually bolstered their case. They have one of the heads of NVIDIA there, of course, Lori Wright, and they have a few other witnesses, I believe, that are being called this week that Epic is specifically calling and not Apple. Some of the other things we found out, Microsoft has never turned a profit on Xbox hardware, but still managed to pull in $2.3 billion in profit in 2019. Which is shocking if you look at what they actually released that year. Like, thank God for things like Fortnite and Call of Duty, I guess. Epic has apparently 14 different companies they are publishing games for right now, and we only publicly know about 3 of those right now. All Xbox had some documents leaked out, and everything 21 segment is completely redacted except for Balan Wonderworld and MLB The Show. Everything else is just blacked out because it hasn't been announced yet, apparently. That's one of those documents that shouldn't have leaked out. The biggest thing I think left, though, is that cross-purchasing is an issue. That seems to be the major issue behind crossplay. Some of the emails that were entered into the record were between Phil Spencer and Tim Sweeney, where Tim was urging Phil to take things that were free to play and drop the gold paywall last July, last August, right before everything blew up. He was trying to get him to do it, and Phil's concern with that was he didn't want there to be a place where you could buy something cheaper on another platform. He wanted to be like, parity across platforms. Like an absolute guarantee. Well, you put something on sale on the PlayStation Store, we want it on sale on ours. We don't want you giving special treatment to people. And I guess those fears were kind of done away with at some point. There's several different emails over a couple years between him and Phil. That was one of the big deals. And of course, that's Sony's thing. Walmart's cloud gaming service leaked out in all of this. Like, that was confirmed to actually exist. The Verge reported on it last summer, but Project Storm was leaked in court documents. Supposedly will run on Windows and will support streaming or downloading them for local play. We don't know if that's still in development. This was like from back in 2019, apparently.
It's all Cabela's games.
Oh my god. It's a great value, Cabela's.
No, what's that? What's that?
Real Hunter. I don't know.
What's that indie supermarket sweep game that they made that was like you have to like make it through the maze of the aisles without knocking stuff over, and it's
Guys
pretty
much tree games.
I don't know what it's called. It was like one of them, like Overcooked or Stretcher or whatever. Those those physics based games that are like really bad, like Moving Out and Stretcher Protector or whatever it's called on Nintendo Switch. Anyways, sorry, I derailed.
And the last note I have here is that the Epic Game Store is not in any way, shape, or form profitable. They have given some of these companies that they give away games for absolute pennies, and they've paid a king's ransom for some other ones. It's estimated they paid obviously millions of dollars out total to these companies for these games, and did not really see a huge uptick in users.
Yeah, but it was weird. It was like, I know you're probably about to say some of this stuff, but it was like $75,000 for For Honor, and then like $1.5 million for Celeste or something ridiculous. It was like, this is all over the place.
So, I will say that Game Pass works exactly the same way. We just don't have those numbers in front of us. Like, it's really easy for us to criticize some of these, but I would kill to see some of the deals that Microsoft has made for indies. For example, like, we know that they directly fund the creation of some of those games, and that's why they stay exclusive for like a year or two, aka Cuphead. But Tim Sweeney guesses they will not be profitable on the game store for at least 3 to 4 years. I don't know if this store lasts 3 to 4 years, because all the money they're dumping in, you figure they could have spent on publishing deals or on... Because, like, we know they're publishing Remedy's next game, as a broad example. They're doing Remedy's next game, but they're also doing Playdead's next game. Those are 2 drastically different size studios. 2 drastically different types of games. And it's like, you could have been investing more in that, or acquire... I don't like to say acquire companies, but you could have been doing very similar to what Microsoft was doing. It's like kind of strange to realize that had they not been dumping all this money into the Epic Game Store and into these free games, they could have probably been one of the players for Bethesda, ultimately. Now, granted, them being worth $18 billion is a lot different than Microsoft, which has like $200 billion in cash on hand. That's a lot different, but still it makes you think like, oh, well, what if things had been different a couple years ago when they launched this store and they decided, well, we want to go pick up Obsidian. Or, oh, we're going to make a major play for Insomniac because we see an opportunity to grow Epic as a company. Like, just think about the ramifications of what could have happened had they not done the Epic Game Store.
Yeah.
And it both, like, kind of intrigues you and terrifies you in a way, because I'm not sure I want Epic controlling some of these companies I like working with.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. Like, when we got the Rocket League announcement, I think we all kind of thought the same thing. And especially when they acquired the Fall Guys devs earlier this year, I think a lot of us like kind of raised our eyebrows and were like, okay, like you're really big into this free-to-play space. You really like cosmetics drive so much of this. Like we found out in 2018, 97% of Epic's revenue came from Fortnite. 2019, it was 88%. The other percentage is not Epic Game Store. That is Unreal Engine. Unreal Engine only accounted for 3% in 2018. Let that sink in. That's how much money Fortnite made in its first year, or its first real year as a battle royale. And I would kill to see the 2020 numbers, especially after this last season that they did with Mando, Kratos, Master Chief. Like, things like that must be driving it to like unfathomable levels.
Well, there was a statistic out there a while ago that was like how every so many minutes they make $1 million or something like that.
Yeah.
I've seen that statistic too. I don't have it on hand right now, but it's bonkers how much money this game makes. Like, I don't ever want to hear about like other games being predatory ever again in terms of microtransactions. Like, Joe and I have had this conversation daily. Like, I swear to God, every time that one of us is like, oh, well, somebody's bitching about Eververse again, and we're like, well, it's not the same thing at all. It's really not. Like, I'd rather pay $10 for my skin that I can mix and match with other pieces of my armor than like $30 for the Master Chief kit.
Right.
And I don't know. It's just, at the end of the day, this is a fascinating, baffling case. This is the amount of redactions that have gone on is exasperating the judge at this point. Every day there's somebody else screaming how they don't want their stuff being revealed. She has had it at this point. She's done. Like, this judge is almost certainly, like, and I don't want to speak this into existence or onto anybody, is almost certainly going to get death threats when this case is over from either Apple fanboys or Epic fanboys.
Yeah. Yes.
And the absolute best part of this case, though, I would encourage people to go seek out some of these emails. Tom Warren has tweeted out a lot of them. The best email I've seen of this entire case is Tim Sweeney emailed Apple about something, and Tim Cook's reply was, isn't this that guy we had at one of our demos once? Who is he?
Yeah.
And this is in response to Fortnite not being the #1 search on the App Store. When you search Fortnite, like things like PUBG are showing up because because PUBG paid for the promotion, or you search for Dropbox and like Office and Files show up first.
Yeah.
Things like that, and like he's bringing those up as examples of like, oh, well, you're messing up our business, blah 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 blah. I was like, this is such an incredibly petty argument between two giants. And hilariously, the only person I think that may come out a winner of this is Microsoft. Like, under court order, it may be like, well, you need to let them be on there and like not have to download separate apps for every game. Like, just get over it. If you let Netflix and Hulu do this, why won't you let them? And the judge like kept pressing Apple's lawyers on that, which I think was like a really good line of question. Like, not even line of questioning, but like coming from the judge. That's probably the thing that holds the biggest impact for consumers right now, is like the Microsoft implications. But I don't know which way this is going to go. If they're going to rule Fortnite must be allowed back on there, if the App Store must open up, like the App Store, Apple's trying to drag itch.io into this now, which is a huge. Yeah, well, because Epic allows itch.io to be on the Epic Game Store, and so Apple's lawyers are like, oh, well, that's pornographic content. Like, have you played games on itch.io? Like, yeah, there's some really bad stuff, but there's also a lot of really, really, really good indie games. Like, that's a good way for indies to self-publish.
Yeah.
It's something like itch.io. And, like, it's a browser-based solution, things like that. And, like, they're both of them, Lori and Epic's lawyers were saying, like, we're not trying to argue that we want the Epic Game Store or the Xbox Store on there, but the client to play these should be there. And so one of the things that the judge was bringing up was like, well, Microsoft managed to get xCloud to work in browser. Why can't you get Fortnite to work that way? And I think that's one of the key things they're going to focus on the last couple weeks of this trial is Microsoft could do this, and they can run like 200-something games on it. Why can't you get one game to work in browser? So, I don't know. It is a fascinating, very, very confusing case. I'm glad there are smarter people than me breaking this down. And I'm serious. Like, I don't understand what is going on with this. But, again, The Verge is doing really good reporting. Rebecca Valentine over at IGN has been doing some really good stuff, too. And Matt Kim over there as well. Like, they've been writing on a lot of the court docs that have leaked out. Tom Warren at The Verge. And The Verge has a couple reporters that are live reading this. Mm-hmm. I finally just had to start following them because I can't keep up and understand this myself. They have actual policy writers following this, like not even game players, like policy writers, like legal analysts following this now. And that's hilarious to me that the court stenographer is having to write about the fucking metaverse and about things like xCloud and Fortnite. Like, where do you even start with this, right?
I think it's funny that one bad interaction has now publicly aired the game industry's dirty laundry to the public. Like whenever I get a headline, it was like this document comes out. I'm like, I thought this was Epic versus Apple.
Yeah,
and it's like
we're seeing all these big ass names show up, and I was like, wait a second, like
this is the biggest like legal happening in the games industry maybe ever. We've gotten a peek behind the curtain in ways that people like Sony never intended. Like Sony is livid that their emails, especially the email from Gio Corsi that was sent to Epic's VPs about why they like under no circumstances will we ever allow crossplay. We have no reason to. It doesn't benefit us. Stop bugging us, basically. And it's like, oh shit, I wouldn't want that email being out there publicly because that makes me look kind of like, I love Geo, but that makes me look kind of like an asshole.
Yeah.
Even if you're doing it on behalf of your company and you were told to do that, it still makes you look like kind of an asshole. You probably don't want that being made public. Like, there are so many other things that luckily got pulled out of that publicly accessed document file. But reporters are there, like, as soon as that opens up every day, like, ready to see. If something else gets entered into evidence and does not get redacted in time, can they pull it? I mean, we found out that, like, the gunk is exclusive to Xbox pretty much permanently, whereas Stalker is for 3 months. Like, what does that have to do with this court case?
Yeah.
Exactly.
But we found it out. Like, the entire slide that has just redacted down an entire side. Like, what did they have planned for this year before COVID? Like, this was entered in last summer. Halo was listed as a fall 2020 game on it.
Yeah.
Like, there's typos on all this. Like, Destiny is listed as a first-party game.
Even like the fact that Microsoft thought that Zelda and Metroid and Bayonetta were all coming out this year, or like, you know, the
turning planning documents. Like, you're trying to figure out how to use these. Like,
or they're
logically, you revealed this 3 years ago. This should be out.
Yeah. Or
but it's not, and it's just. And then, like, the whole revenue estimates, like, they estimate that PlayStation made, like, $5 billion in revenue, and that Nintendo was about on par with Microsoft. Like, it's just, you see all these, like, they estimate Tencent is at, like, $7 billion or something. Like, oh, shit, like, this is actually really interesting to look at. EA is, like, over $1 billion. And so much of that's because of, like, Ultimate Team, I'm sure. But, like, I think that's the next great fight is predatory microtransactions. Like, that's a side effect of this that Epic probably doesn't want to happen that will happen now.
Hell yeah, right. and I'm ready. I'm ready for that.
Yeah, man, this is crazy stuff. I'm sure there'll be a lot.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you.
Thanks.
The reporter I'm trying to find, Addie Robertson is her name. I encourage, if you want to know what's going on, like beat by beat of this, like, and you don't want to like read a long-winded write-up, go follow her on Twitter. Tom Warren has been doing great write-ups though at the end of every day, or of like the next morning of what happened, and like he includes the actual like docs in there if they leaked out. in a PDF file for you to look at. I encourage reading The Verge's coverage. They are continuing to be the best in the business when it comes to covering the tech industry. That is where I've gotten everything that I just talked about was from those two first. And again, Rebecca and Matt Kim over at IGN have done really, really good work too.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to move on. We're going to try to do these next couple stories quick. We might cut the last one. I'm not sure exactly, but this next one I think is definitely worth talking about, even though it's kind of old news at this point. But in a shocking turn of events, IGN reported last week that Sony has invested a minority stake in Discord. The popular text and video chat service will be integrated into PlayStation device. Quote, early next year, Discord has been popular with gamers for years, and with the growth and popularity of cross-platform games like Fortnite, Outriders, Destiny, and others, this is a huge win for PlayStation gamers with PC-centric friends. PlayStation acquires minority interest in Discord following the Microsoft's buyout interest. There's a link here in the show notes to the IGN story. It's kind of felt like a weird slap in the face to Microsoft in a way, but also I think this is very good for PlayStation. What are your guys' thoughts? Because we've been kind of talking about how Discord should come to consoles anyway for a while.
Who do you think called who? So, like, me, after seeing this article, felt like maybe Discord was, like, going around being like, hey, we have this functionality you want to do, like offering a partnership, so to speak. And, like, obviously PlayStation's like, sure. But then maybe think that when they go and tell Microsoft and be like, well, we'd be willing to buy you outright. Mm-hmm. Like that type of thing. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, well, that's not really what we had in mind. And then knowing that they maybe had talked with PlayStation already.
Or maybe Discord saw what they did with Skype and we're just like, we don't want that.
Right.
As we use Skype
for this. I'm curious which one's the chicken and which one's the egg here. Like,
I feel like
who was talking to who first?
Yeah. I feel like the chicken in this whole thing was Microsoft expressing interest in buying Discord. And the egg just happened to be that Sony came along and said, "Hey, we'll invest in you." And the reason why I think that is, and we had a discussion on this. Well, we had a discussion on this when we were planning last week's Crossroads, but we didn't actually flesh out a lot of the talk in the actual episode. We said that Discord, they wanted to do something to bolster that platform, but not completely remove themselves out of the equation. And so when Microsoft turned around and said, "Hey, we'll throw you these," I think it was like $11 billion.
It was about 10.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Microsoft, what's $1 billion, right?
Yeah. Microsoft said, "We'll buy you out," but the people behind Discord was like, "No, we don't want to be taken off the playing field. You know, we still want to be a part of the community." And so like things happen. Discord ultimately, ceases negotiations for any of that talk because it was Microsoft and there's two other companies, which they never disclosed the other two companies. I looked for it. I couldn't find. They said there was three companies, including Microsoft, that was talking about buying them. Microsoft had dropped the biggest number as far as how much dollars they'll put down on it, and I couldn't find anywhere the other two companies. But Discord, it looks like Discord was honestly not in the mood to actually sell and get out. They want to still be, a thing. And so
I think they want to go public, right? Like that's kind of their ultimate goal.
Yeah, my understanding is they were talking with Microsoft and two other companies. My best guess is that they were talking with Amazon and potentially Google. Those make the two most sense for me because we have to remember people don't use Discord. Do what?
I said those are good guesses. And
yeah, I feel like those are the only three companies that maybe even Apple that have the overhead to acquire them. Who knows? Like Facebook could be in the mix. I don't really know, but we have to remember that Discord, it started as a gaming thing, but people use Discord for all kinds of things. Like I'm in collecting Discords. I'm in fan group Discords. Like it's just a really weird thing. At a certain point in the negotiations, they did go exclusive to Microsoft. Like it was at the lawyers phase. That's how far we got along with this. The PlayStation blog post to me is really, really weird. announces a partnership and that they invested $200 million, but they don't go any farther than that. They don't actually confirm that Discord Party Chat is coming, because a partnership could be something as little as what Xbox already has with Discord, which is you can link your profile to it. People on Discord can see what you're playing on Xbox. You can see what game you're playing, like what you're in. Like, I can see friends of mine that are linked on Discord when they're playing Trials of Osiris and Destiny. I can see when they're playing Borderlands. See when they're doing all these things. I do think with a $200 million investment, you are expecting way more out of that than just linking your accounts, because you couldn't even do that before. I do think that's where it's going to start, though, and that by next summer, you're probably going to see it maybe come to PlayStation first, and then like 3 months later, oh, hey, by the way, we're also sliding into Xbox's DMs.
Yes.
Right. Once someone's already paid for the API infrastructure.
Right. And I will put it to you this way. It is far more critical for PlayStation to make that investment than Microsoft.
True.
Because Microsoft has Party Chat baked into every single Windows PC on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
You can have Party Chat running in the background if you're playing cross-platform games with your friends on Xbox, which is what Microsoft ultimately wants. Sure, you can play with your PlayStation friends. They could give a shit about that right now. Their primary focus is, understandably, Xbox to PC gamers. They have to care more about PlayStation now, and that's where your third-party app like Discord comes in. There are workarounds on that for your Xbox right now, I believe. There's little third-party apps.
Discord also runs through the Edge app on Xbox.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you can do all that, but PlayStation's Party Chat, forgive me, PlayStation fans, Party Chat is dog shit on PlayStation.
Oh, no, trust me. Have at it. Trust me.
The PSN infrastructure is from 2008. This is where Microsoft may not have the killer games, but they are a software company. They have the superior UI, store, search functions, Party Chat, online experience. They've had that since day one. That was baked into the OG Xbox, and it has just continued to evolve. I know that makes me sound like a fanboy, but you can still do Party Chat with your PC friends. You can't do that. If you're playing PS4 with somebody, you can use Discord, hook it up on your phone, and run some earbuds up into your headphones, which is what I've had to do in the past. Let's not forget, Nintendo technically has a Discord partnership. Discord is technically baked into their app.
Yeah.
So who knows? I do think this amounts to more, but I don't know that $200 million, because that's a very small drop in the bucket, if that will ultimately move the needle too far in terms of exclusivity. I think they probably said, hey, we'll give you this investment for 3 to 6 months exclusivity of this so we can bill it as it's a PlayStation first thing, which is a smart move. Get that in the mindset of people. But there is no way on earth Discord does that and doesn't go, well, we want to work with Xbox too.
The only other thing I'll add to it, because I did say this on yesterday's Crossroads when we spoke about this, is that also COVID changed a whole bunch of stuff, and communication platforms became very, very important this past year. And so it got to a point where Discord was probably you know what, even though the Microsoft Microsoft offering is tempting to sell, we are not going to be into it right now, because our platform has gotten. Discord was already popular, but it exploded now, because we now have more and more people who are not even gaming affiliated on Discord. I'm an IT guy, and I hear business people like realtors and stuff like that talking about, hey, we can chat on Discord and stuff like that. And it's and you look at these people you don't play a single damn video game, stuff like that.
I mean, Discord's been in the news for a lot of the wrong reasons since last summer, I would say. Mm-hmm. We know that a lot of groups, as they started getting kicked off of Twitter and Facebook, mainly Twitter, found refuge in Discord, because Discord has really lax moderation. I do wonder who backed out of the negotiations first, if it was Microsoft or if it was Discord, because one of the things I speculated on was I don't know if Microsoft wanted to be legally liable for what happened on that platform. They would have had to crack down on a lot of things. We already know Discord's cracking down on not safe for work channels. There have been far right groups that have been tied to Discord. There have been groups that were involved in January 6th organized on Discord as well. That's not exactly the kind of buzz that you want going around your platform if you're looking to sell for $10 billion or to make an IPO.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that had something to play into it. Either way, this is a best case scenario for Discord. They get the best of both worlds now. Both companies are going to fork over money now to have a stake in it. Microsoft's not going to let Sony invest $200 million and not come and invest something else. They're not letting another Epic Games situation happen.
Spot on. Mm-hmm.
And we forget all the time, like, you can make an investment without it becoming public.
Yeah.
So I wonder if like something like that'll happen. So like, not that I'm saying like, oh, Microsoft's going to come out and they're going to dump $600 million into this fucking company. Like, no, like they have less of a reason to, but why wouldn't they be like, well, hey, you're going to work with Sony, like let them have the exclusivity. Then we want to talk to you about baking it into the Xbox. Like one of the guys over at Windows Central I follow a lot, Jez Corden. He reports on a lot of stuff in the industry for specifically Microsoft and Xbox, and he said on his podcast the other day that Discord is still talking with Xbox about the same deal that they gave to PlayStation. I wouldn't be shocked to see it in the news here in a few months, maybe after E3 or after the summer event. Like, oh, hey, look, Microsoft threw some money there too. Like, they're a small investor. Like, $200 million in a $10 billion company is nothing.
Yeah.
That's 2% of the company.
Yeah.
We're so proud of you. That's not enough to get a board seat or to dictate policy change. So, but it's enough that people know you're affiliated now.
Yeah.
You can put a logo somewhere on your website.
Right, you can put a logo on people's there's Discord logos and Steam logos and stuff on Xbox for your linked profiles. There's Twitch, like I have Twitch linked. Twitch is on there. I think I have my Discord linked. I don't know, but yeah, so it's just cool. I'm really excited for what this means for this generation of gaming.
Yeah, I'd be excited to have Discord on.
I want Discord really badly.
It'll be better. It makes more sense for Microsoft from the standpoint of like cross-play is such a huge thing for them.
Yeah.
And it's like they're clearly like, we want you to be able to play on PC and Xbox interchangeably.
Yeah.
And like if you have an Xbox, you're going to be playing on Xbox. If you want to play with your friend on PC, that's not always going to be the case. I mean, it's easy to create an account, but
and with the push into cloud gaming as well.
Yeah.
You can put it in the background on your phone while you're playing a cloud game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would like to be able, once crossplay comes to Destiny, I'd like to be able to sit there and play a Nightfall at night. And I can use party chat through my iPhone, but maybe my buddies are playing on PC or they're playing on PS4. Like I have friends that play on PlayStation who can't wait to play with me and my group. I'd like to be able to talk to them. So hey, I'd like to be able to route it through Discord, but not if it's going to cause problems.
Do you think that maybe Discord, or do you think maybe the PlayStation and Xbox party chats are going to integrate Discord without having an app open, or you think it's just going to be a separate app? Like, do you think like Xbox Party Chat will automatically import your Discord friends too?
It kind of depends on how they build the app. Like, this is a really like touch and go situation. I think that's why like Sony may get access to this first because they want to see how it works on a specific platform. Mm-hmm. Before they go ahead with anything, because it's disastrous on the Switch, and that's good. Press to talk and all that bullshit.
Oh, I don't know. I think plugging your phone into 3 separate things before plugging in the Switch works very well.
I would assume that you would be able to access your Discord friends list, like maybe have a list of like it says like PSN and Discord or something, but it's pretty clear it's gonna have to be baked into the UIs of these consoles.
Yeah.
There's gonna have to be the first major refresh after launch, which these UIs usually get an update about every 18 months or so.
Yeah.
So
Xbox usually puts a big one out every fall. Usually.
I think so. I think next summer, probably at E3, is when you're going to get the next updates for Discord. I think it's going to go really silent for about a year while they work on this. They've already said like the partnership isn't really going to take effect until next year. Yeah. Like it'll start this fall, which I suspect they'll be linking your account.
Yeah. And
then you'll probably get the full integration, at least in beta stage next year.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll keep you posted on Discord, I guess. Join our Discord, by the way.
That's what I thought you were going for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boss Rush Games.
Keep you posted on Discord.
Come on in. Don't be a dick.
You will be kicked out.
Yeah, you will. I've done it. Okay. So the last story we're going to cover before our kind of main topic tonight. According to reports from Game Informer's Liana Rupert, IO Interactive, the studio behind the incredibly well-received Hitman franchise, is working on a fantasy IP that will be published by Xbox Game Studios. They recently opened a third studio in Barcelona to support development and doubling their current studio size for Hitman and their upcoming 007 project. This is really interesting, especially because like what does a fantasy IP look like from IO, and does it being published by Xbox Game Studios give them the freedom to kind of do what they want because of Game Pass?
I have notes.
Oh God!
Oh boy!
I have notes.
Maybe I should have just let
Josh is here.
Josh run the show tonight. Jeez.
No, I'm not trying to be like that. I have notes on this. So for the last couple of weeks, we've seen some teases on Twitter from Windows Central from Jez and Miles over there, who've been teasing a couple of new IPs coming to Game Pass, specifically coming to Xbox and coming to Game Pass. And one of those had a little dragon emoji, and it got picked up by a lot of people. And Liana wrote a really good story about it. Mm-hmm. Basically, what this comes out to, Jess just shared some of these details the other day, that it's going to be a major AAA game, and it's going to be a connected RPG set in like medieval fantasy, and they're envisioning this to be a connected live service game in the vein of Destiny. Which, if you know anything about the development of Destiny, that was the original pitch that Jason Jones, the head of Bungie, had for Destiny. We've seen some of the concept art shared from that, and it just like kind of makes you wonder, like, what if? And this is a huge change for a studio that, like you said, has worked on Hitman.
Yeah,
they're going to go make a medieval fantasy, but we've seen that can work when you go against type. Guerrilla went from Killzone to arguably the game of the generation with Horizon.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not like it can work. It's not like Hitman's the only thing they've done. I mean, they did Kane and Lynch too, which, yeah, again, kind of like a semi-modern shooter game. But, like, you know what I mean? It's not like Kane and Lynch is the greatest thing ever, but they have done other things, was my point.
But he says the important thing to remember is this game is really far away. It has been greenlit, and that there is a slim but probably unlikely chance that you'll get a trailer for it this summer.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's probably targeting 2023 right now. That it probably would have been next year, but COVID-19 slapped an extra year onto whenever you thought it was coming out. But he says this is one of 5 games that Microsoft has deals for right now, being made by third parties that will be exclusive and published by Xbox. So we know this one. We know the Hideo Kojima game, which is all but set in stone at this point, barring a catastrophe with the lawyer talks. And the other one he's teased is Typhoon, which is another online game. He says, which is a lot farther in development, and you'll probably get a tease for this year. So I'm so curious. Like, this is stuff that Microsoft probably couldn't do internally, but partnering with other studios, they're taking the Sony approach here, and that's a smart thing to do. Just actually promote them this time, unlike Sunset Overdrive and Quantum Break, which you had exclusive games from Insomniac and Remedy, and you sent them out to die.
Both great games still, I would say.
Arguably the 2 best exclusives they had.
Well,
except for the
Overdrive is being reborn.
Yeah, well, I mean, Sony owns the trademark now, right? Because Remedy owns it. So, they just filed
Insomniac. For it.
Yeah.
So Sony.
Yeah, I'm very curious what that means. Is that just like Sony officially owns it now? Because Sean Lade made it sound like at the acquisition announcement that they owned the trademark already.
Well, I think when
I don't know if this is just a renewal of it or what.
I think when they bought Insomniac, they owned it, and this is just a renewal to confirm that they're just gonna. I don't think we're gonna get Sunset Overdrive, especially anytime soon, unless it's like some kind of remastered version.
I think you're gonna get a port.
Yeah,
it's been 7 years. I would be very surprised if you. And it was a game that sold only 1 million copies. I'd be very surprised if you got a sequel. Like there was that 4chan rumor going around last week that was like, oh, Sunset Apocalypse is coming, and it's like, well, first off, you believed a 4chan rumor. Second off, people in the know with Insomniac and with Sony said like, no, absolutely not. That isn't like, we know Insomniac's future plans, and that's not it.
It's Spider-Man and Ratchet
included a Sunset Overdrive remaster, so take that for what it's worth. I still think it's possible they hand that to somebody like Bluepoint. They just like spruce it up and make it look pretty. But after the success of Spider-Man and surely what Ratchet and Clank is about to do, I don't think that.
And the Resistance rumors going around too at some point.
I'm curious to know if Ted Price has reversed his stance on Resistance, because he made it pretty clear a few years ago he didn't ever want to do another Resistance game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they could just be re-releasing an HD remastered trilogy or something.
Curious thing about this. Yeah, The curious thing about the Sunset Overdrive rumor to me is Drew Murray, who was the game director on that, left to go work for Microsoft. Mm-hmm. He was the senior designer, senior producer on Perfect Dark. And he left the initiative at the beginning of the year because he had a whole lot of horrible things happen in family. And a month later, he was back at Insomniac.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that was, for me, that was the biggest indication you may get a sequel because he's wanted to make one for so long. Mm-hmm. If Sony maybe told him, like, hey, we know you don't really want to work right now, like, work your way back, like, we'll announce that you're part of us again, but when you come back, you can make your own team and you can start working on Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah. Well, didn't he take a demotion to go back to Insomniac?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, but I mean,
going back as a director or as a producer, he's just going back as a designer. Mm-hmm. That's the other, and he has worked on Ratchet and Clank before, so who knows what he's doing. I'm very curious in Drew's career, though. I think he's a great game director, and I think he has a lot of really, really fun ideas.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that Joe brought that up, though. That's something to definitely keep an eye on. I would do unspeakable, unfathomable acts for another Sunset Overdrive.
Yeah, I mean, in reality, like
I'll do things. I'll do things that you can't even think of.
I will do another playthrough if you give me just like 120 FPS boost on it.
Yeah,
I do think that's probably a Microsoft game you'll never see get that boost.
Yeah,
is because they would
do. I mean, if it's a system level thing, why not?
Well, I mean, they could do something on like the back end, but I mean, like official FPS boost, as one of their 100 marketable titles that has that now. After this, God, they just added 75 of those this week.
I know,
it's crazy.
I know. It was originally on the list to talk about tonight, but obviously, this hasn't exactly been a short show, so it's been cut. So is the next story, but yeah, Hitman. I think when Hitman 3 goes on sale at some point, I will, because I have Hitman 1 and 2, so I'll play through all of them at one.
They're brilliant games, and I love that you can keep importing those levels too.
Yeah. So we shall see, I suppose. Anybody else have anything else to say about this before we move on?
Nope.
Great. So before we get into our May game preview, we're going to go over the free games you can get real fast. So this is a new segment I kind of want to integrate into the show probably the week before the new month starts. Obviously, we're kind of partway through the month now, but I just kind of want to go over the PlayStation Plus games, the games with gold stuff, games coming to Game Pass, etc. PlayStation Plus games for May. PS5, you get Wreckfest. PS4, you get Battlefield 5 and Stranded Deep. Games with gold or Game Pass Ultimate games, you get for Xbox One, you get Armello and Dungeons 3 for the month. For the first half, for Xbox 360 and backwards compatible, you get Lego Batman, the first one. Yeah, that... I don't know. I feel like there are better options, but anyways. And you get Tropical 4, even though they're on Tropico 6 now. So you get those. Remember to add these games to your respective libraries, even if you don't plan to play them right now. You can always download them later. Is Games Gold just like a crapshoot at this point, and they're just trying to push you to Game Pass? Because PlayStation's free games the last few months have just been really good.
Yeah, this month for us Crossroads hosts, we said this month was not a good month. But
I'm so sorry you had one bad month in like 7.
We're not complaining, honestly, but it's one of those things. I'm not sure the track record is.
An Xbox fan, okay?
Okay, I was just about to say I'm not sure how the Xbox how Games of Gold goes, but typically there's usually 1, maybe 2 months that PlayStation kind of has stinkers.
So it's more like we have 1 or 2 months that are bangers.
Yeah, like we got Gears. We got Gears 5 Game of the Year edition 1 point, but it's also available on Game Pass. So like.
That's the thing. Like, if we didn't have Game Pass, I'd be a lot more salty about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm like, well, Okay, I'm paying the same amount I was for gold, and I'm getting access to like 200 games. I think I'll live.
Yeah.
I don't games with gold anyways. I didn't want
them. Coming to Game Pass May 4th through the 13th, we've got Dragon Quest Builders 2 on Xbox and PC, FIFA 21 through EA Play and Game Pass Ultimate on Xbox and PC, Outlast 2 for Xbox, PC, and Cloud. Steep. Josh, you said Steep is better than it has any right to be. It's on Twitter, I think.
Have written that game off so many times that I'm glad that I never forked out for it, because that's perfect Game Pass game.
Is it the SSX game I've always wanted, or is it not?
No, but it fills the SSX-sized hole in my heart.
Whoa. That's for Xbox and Cloud. Final Fantasy X and X-2 HD are coming to Xbox and PC. Just Cause 4 Reloaded is coming to Xbox, PC, and Cloud. Psychonauts is coming to Xbox, PC, and Cloud. Red Dead Online is coming to Xbox and Cloud. And Remnant from the Ashes is coming to PC, which, if you are a Bloodborne fan, I hear that this game scratches that itch. So it's already on Xbox Game Pass, by the way. PlayStation Now games that were added this month were Neo, Streets of Rage 4, and Jump Force. Those are all the PlayStation 4 versions of those games.
Good news about Neo, though. Neo is a permanent addition to PlayStation Now, so it is not going away.
Yeah.
Because Sony publishes it in part of the world.
Yeah. No games were announced for Nintendo Switch's Online's NES or SNES services this month. So, sorry.
Big shocker.
Right.
But I mean, didn't they just get like a ginormous dump of like Donkey Kong games though?
I don't know. I'm not gonna lie, I don't pay attention. Somebody call Ed. He'll know. But then he'll just start talking about, I don't know, Solomon's Key or Alex Kidd in the crap world. I don't know. Our main topic tonight, though, is the May games preview. We're just going to kind of run down the list of games that are coming in May, and we're going to talk about the ones we're excited for, and then we'll get out of here. So, shout out to end of April, though. Returnal and new Pokemon Snap both came out on the 30th. I've heard good things about both. I've also heard bad things about both. So, Laurent likes, or Joe likes Returnal, though. So
I do.
Take that.
There you go. Resident are.
Resident Evil Village is out on everything. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is getting their first piece of DLC. Wrath of the Druids on everything, including Google Stadia. I don't include Google Stadia in everything, so if it is coming to Stadia, I will say, and Google Stadia. The Famicom Detective Club games are both coming to Switch. If you buy one, you get 10% off the other digitally, so there's that. Mass Effect Legendary Edition is coming to everything, which is the game I'm kind of most excited about.
Except Nintendo Switch.
Well, yeah. Well, Switch is not. I don't really count Switch as everything either.
Even Mass Effect 3 came to Wii U.
And I will argue that is the best way to play that game, except that you can't play the other two games on the Wii U. So.
Get out.
No, you can control your squad on the tablet.
Get out.
You get out. Go away, Josh. Okay. You're fired until Thursday when I need you for Tower Casuals. Days Gone's coming to PC. Miitopia is coming to Switch. Rust is coming to Xbox One and PS4. Biomutant, which is another game that everybody is talking about, is coming to Xbox One, PS4, and PC. Maneater is finally coming to Switch, and then Shin Megami Tensei 3 Remastered is coming to PS4, Switch, and PC with Devil May Cry DLC also. So
I'm gonna play 2 of the games on this list, and I'll let y'all guess which ones those are.
Well, I think, Josh, you are a big Famicom Detective Club person, so you're gonna play both of those games.
You just nailed it. I'm not even kidding. You nailed it. No bullshit. Those are the 2 games on this list I'm actually gonna play.
Why are you gonna play those games?
I low-key love point and click and visual novel games. I'm very excited about these. When the direct happened and I saw those, I was like, "Ooh!" I'm instantly going to buy those games. I'm gonna fire up my Switch for the first time in like 8 months for these games. I'm not kidding. I'm not paying for Pokemon Snap. I've had more fun watching my friends piss themselves on stream playing Resident Evil, and I'm not about to drop $70 on Returnal when I have a digital PS5. Well, I got a PS5 this week, by the way, everyone. When I don't know if I'm going to like the game. Having a digital-only console is going to make me like really cautious about buying games, honestly, for what is essentially a first-party machine for me. And I just don't want to drop $70 on something that I've already been told by 2 different friends, knowing my anger tendencies would result in my DualSense breaking or being embedded in the drywall of my apartment.
Spoiler, your DualSense might do that on its own.
Oh, God. That's a game that I will play it eventually, but I'm going to wait for a sale. I will genuinely be buying Famicom Detective Club, though.
Returnal seems like a game that'll be on PS Plus in a year.
It's
It'll be like a
game,
beyond human type treatment, I would imagine, that timeline.
It's not that I don't think it looks good. Like, it looks like a harder Metroid Prime, which really excites me. But again, $70 for something I'm not really sure and that I've just heard is like brutally difficult does not sound like something I will enjoy my time with.
Yeah.
If I had gotten a disc-based PS5, I would have picked this up, because then if I don't like it, well, cool, I can go sell it for like half the price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a lot. I think it's a lot, especially with games going up $10 more on PS5. That is a big ask for people. Invest that into a new IP. And it's not that I don't like Housemarque and I don't like third-person shooters. I love both of those things. But I'd rather wait. And Paris made a really good point. Paris Lilly made a good point on XCast this week, where he says that this is a game that he enjoyed, but he understands the hesitance of it. So this is where like that's why he's like, I'm appreciative for something like Game Pass, because you can try it, and if it's not for you, okay, cool. But if you like it, hey, you can go support this developer. And that's kind of how I feel about it too. Like I sound spoiled and entitled saying something like that, but really, not having bought many AAA titles in the last couple of years, except for my Switch, has kind of changed my way of thinking completely. And it's like, well, if I like this game, or it's a studio that I know I like love and that I like all of their games. For example, I love Halo and I love Bethesda. I'm gonna buy Halo Infinite and I'm gonna buy Starfield. I'm not gonna play this on Game Pass. I'm gonna buy those right away. Probably buy the collector's editions. But something like Returnal, I'm not sure I'm gonna like this purely because of the difficulty and the no saving. I don't like roguelikes. I hate games like that.
Yeah, I do too.
I do not enjoy them. I acknowledge Dead Cells is an extraordinary game. I do not like it. I have been told I would like Hades. That was an anti-rogue person. I would like Hades. I will play it one of these days. But I'm not going to drop $70 for something I might like. And especially after I've been hearing that consoles turn off when they're in rest mode when you have that game, or the game closes out. No, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't have 2 to 3 hours to sit down for a run every time I want to try and beat this game.
Yeah,
Josh, you're the reason why John Garvin was on Dave Jaffe's show, yelling and crying about.
I'm the guy who is going to prevent you from getting sequels to things like Days Gone. That's right.
But you know what? I completely get it though. And that's the thing. And that's the thing about it.
And we forget that.
Yeah, we need to pay attention to certain things, One of the things is like not everybody's going to have like implicit trust in your title to buy it like straight up when it's brand new and $70 and especially when you have people that will shell out $180 for your limited edition game, like not everybody's in that lane.
Well, and this is a game that already, in terms of sales and in terms of reviews, has done far better than I think Housemarque ever dreamed of.
Yes.
Like, it shows, to be clear, if this game came out like a year or two into the console, after things like Horizon and God of War, I don't know that it would have done as well. Not because of the quality. I acknowledge the quality is there.
It's just there's nothing. This is the perfect time to release a game like this.
Want a reason to play their new console.
Yeah.
So that's why a game like this is going to take off. Like, had it come out post Ratchet and Clank, I don't know that it does that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ratchet looks good,
Ratchet
though.
and Clank, you have Horizon coming. You have Gran Turismo on the horizon next year, and God of War, and Ghost of Tsushima 2, Last of Us Remake, Factions, like all that good stuff is coming. Does Returnal get lost in that shuffle eventually? Honestly, and as a biased answer, I'm going to say yes. It's going to have the Demon Souls treatment. It's going to get amazing reviews. It's going to sell really, really well for a month or two, and then you're going to forget about it because the hardcores have already bought it.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Sales do not dictate a game's quality. So like this is going to be a game of the year contender, just might not be sales of the year contender.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, speaking of the $70 game, I think I've bought one game at full price this year. I think it was Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury was the only game I've purchased at full price this year.
The only one I purchased at full price in the last probably year and a half was Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Excuse me, Beyond Light. I also bought Destiny Beyond Light.
Yeah. I don't really count Destiny as like that's our life, you know. Joe knows. Joe knows. Destiny's our life. That doesn't count as that's a necessity life expense at this point.
I mean, yeah,
right.
that's Netflix, that's Hulu, like that's any of those other. Like I view Destiny more as a subscription service, even though it's paid annually.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I think Mass Effect is really the only thing on this list. I wanted to like Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I love it. After playing Odyssey for like 60 or 70 hours, I couldn't like. I feel like the people that liked Origins like this game, and the people that liked Odyssey are kind of lukewarm on it. That's how I have interpreted the internet's review of this game. Which I played it for like 2 or 3 hours, and I liked it, but I didn't love it, and I actually ended up going back to Odyssey to play the DLC when this game came out. So. But yeah, Mass Effect. I'm interested in Biomutant, but I'll wait. It's like a wait and see game. You know what I mean? It's just, it looks neat. I saw a thing that said the higher intellect, the bigger your character's head gets. So that's a neat feature, I guess. I want to be this like tiny rodent with this giant head that's like a Funko Pop sized. So. Anything else? Any games on this list? Anybody else is staring at?
No, I'm gonna play Mass Effect, but I feel like Destiny's gonna get in the way first. Just because I've already invested so much.
I know.
I gotta keep going.
Plus, like Mass Effect is gonna end up on Game Pass anyway at some point.
That's my stance too. Like, why? And I realize I'm one of those horrible people that you hear about on the internet. Oh, you're just gonna wait for it to come to Game Pass? You're one of those people. Yes, I am. Gaming is a luxury hobby. Why should I pay for something that the original versions are already on Game Pass for? If I want to play them that badly, I'll go play the OG versions.
Yeah. I get fed up with that argument nowadays because, like, here's the thing about it, like, like
it's silly.
Because you don't have an Xbox.
Yeah.
No. Oh, wait, no.
Don't you guys have phones?
That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is, like, I feel like the more and more people who try to, like, make a pariah out of the people that say, oh, I'm gonna wait for it to come on PlayStation Plus. I'm gonna wait for it to come out on Game Pass, whatever, stuff like that. Like, the thing is, now we've gotten to such a it's almost like a boutique style, with how games are nowadays. Mm-hmm. We have so many different ways of getting games, either at a very cheap price, like Humble Bundle, for example, or like a very streamlined price where it's basically free 99, mm-hmm. And it's like, and so I don't understand what the deal is, like people. There's things that people like literally will screw up like $10, $12, $15 on, and the fact that, someone's paying for a subscription service to get, like $60, $70 free, games for a subscription price. Just get out of here with that shit. I think it's the dumbest thing you come out with people like, if you're playing the game, and if you're getting your enjoyment out of it, cool. Take it one step further and, buy an actual digital license once you're through with it and everything. So, you at least support the people. But then, that's another argument because then people aren't happy. Like, well, why didn't you buy it when it was brand new? Like, screw you. Shut up.
My thing is like Game Pass has allowed me to try games that I would never have played. And like, if I really enjoy the game, I will purchase the games, right? Like, I'm a huge fan of Gears, so I already knew I was going to buy those, so I own all those games physically, but, like, I've never opened them because they're on Game Pass, right? Like, but if, the internet goes down forever or whatever, I still have those games on disc, although if that happens, I have probably have bigger issues than, figuring out what Xbox games to play. But, like, with Mass Effect, I will probably purchase it just because I love Mass Effect, right? And I would love to have an updated versions of those games, especially that first game, which is extremely difficult to go to. Laurent, I know you know because you were doing it for your YouTube channel for a while. Like that first game is incredibly hard to go back to play. The story is really good, but the game is like, woof, boy.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, when the Legendary Edition comes out, like I'm getting on PC just so I can continue my playthrough, because I kind of abandoned it, but like it's because like I got swallowed into boss rush games that I had to like change priorities,
Yeah, sorry.
So the Mass Effect. That's okay. No, that's okay because I've learned so much.
Unforgettable.
I know.
I know it's funny because I was just on my YouTube channel looking at the analytics and stuff like that, and I was like, man, like people actually watch those playthroughs. I'm like, man, I'm kind of upset at myself that I kind of abandoned it.
By the way, speaking of Mass Effect, I bought a physical edition of Andromeda for $4 on Amazon yesterday.
Nice.
Because I want to own it.
I have a PC.
Because I thought what I played was okay, and I still want to give that game another shot.
Oh, my roommate gives me all sorts of hell for never finishing Andromeda. But the reason why I didn't finish Andromeda is because I bought it day one when it launched, and it was so problematic. It wasn't the problems itself was what killed me from playing it. It was the patching cycle that they went through. It seemed like every time I would turn the game on to start playing, there was a patch, and it wasn't just some quick little patch that like puts itself in like 2 minutes.
Multi-gig patch.
Yeah, and stuff like that, and it was every time I turned the game on. I mean, like some days I would literally be like, okay, like I'm just gonna wait. For them to get all the patches out, and then finally I turned around and said, "Oh, we're gonna release one last patch, and this is gonna be it," stuff like that. And by that point, there was already other games out that I was playing, and it was just one of those things. My roommate gives me so much hell about it because he's like, "Man, Andromeda's a great game." I'm like, "Yeah, you played it after it was patched."
Yeah. I played it like 8 or 9 months after it came out, and I was like, "This isn't bad. I don't know what people are talking about. It seems fine."
Yeah, so I'm going to get back into it because I was invested in it. But, what probably happen is I'll probably run through Legendary Edition, and then I will finally do Andromeda.
Yeah,
do Andromeda and do it right.
I mean, the main reason why I want to get back to Andromeda now is because whatever the new Mass Effect is seems to be tying both games or both series together, right?
Is that what's going to happen?
It seems
I hadn't heard anything about that.
Well, if you watch the trailer, they fly through the Milky Way and the Andromeda Galaxy. So...
And they've avoided saying which one it's supposedly a sequel to, just hinting that it's for both.
Yeah, and that's why they showed Liara, because Asari can live for
thousands of
years. Yeah.
Well, at least 1,000 years.
Yeah. So, and Andromeda takes place 250 years after Mass Effect 2 or something.
Yeah, about that way because it takes god awful long amount of time to cross galaxies.
Yeah. Turns out space travel is not fast.
Yeah, you need that. Yeah, you need better than whatever they had in Mass Effect.
Yeah. So, well, that was our May Games preview. Hope you enjoyed it because we didn't talk about a lot. So,
oh my god,
I don't know if that segment's going to stick around or not based on this episode alone. So, if you have good feedback, please tell me. Anyways, why don't we get out of here, guys? It's been a 2 hour and 15-minute show. Pretty decent chunk of show. I want to thank everybody who was watching live on Twitch who joined us tonight. Appreciate you coming out and having a chat in the chat, as they say. Josh, thanks for joining us tonight. Remember, you can download the show from your favorite podcast service of choice. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a nice review. We would really appreciate it. You can also find us on Spotify and other podcast apps, as well as youtube.com/BossRushGames. You can check out all of our content on BossRushGames.com. Joe, where can we find you?
Go to Facebook.com/AngryDadStreaming. Bulk of my content's there. If you want to follow me personally on Twitter, you guys know what to do. Josh, we're going to check those show notes.
Yeah, we are.
Should I just make that a shirt and send it to you, Joe?
Check those show notes.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll wear it.
Josh, where can we find you?
Twitter and Twitch @Josh_Finn with 2 N's, and every single week on Tower Casuals. I will be getting back to streaming soon because we have a new season and we have another day one raid attempt coming up.
Ooh.
Joe, Nerd, and friend of the show A1 Johnny and myself will be attempting Vault of Glass as soon as it goes live.
Attempting or conquering?
Well, conquering.
There you go.
If all goes according to plan, because we're not getting through challenge mode. But
yes, you are. You just got to kill the Gorgons down there. You just got to kill them. Just kill them all.
I guarantee you, challenge mode is going to be fucking stupid on Destiny 2.
Probably.
Oh, I'm scared. I'm scared, guys.
Speaking of scared, LaRon, where can we find you?
You can find me on social media, Twitch, PlayStation Network, Exodus 803, EXODUS 803. Crossroads will be back Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my Twitch channel. Corey is on the show with us, as well as Power Block's Dan Murphy. So be ready for that. And then Hunters for Hire will be back this Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my Twitch channel.
Yes. You can find me. I am Corey HC on Twitter. You can find me on Tower Casuals with Josh and popping up on various other things we do here at Boss Rush Games. Check out our website, bossrushgames.com. Check out our entertainment side. Josh and I recently appeared on LAN Party, so you can check that out. Yeah. So that's gonna do it. Thank you guys so much for watching. And until next time, we love you. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.